We're here on an overcast homecoming afternoon. Field as the undefeated Penn Quakers host the Yale Bulldogs. Led by quarterback Jim Krochickia with a record-tying performance last week, Penn is still reveling from its stunning upset victory over heavily favored Navy at Annapolis. Down 13-3 at the half, Krochickia throws 4 second-half touchdown passes, 3 of them going to number 85 tight end Brent Novoselsky, also tying a school record. Penn supporters and alumni are calling the come-from-behind victory one of the most exciting for Penn in the last 3 decades.
Far they've come, and for the league, for them to beat a team like that, and more importantly, it meant that they really are the team to beat in this Ivy League, no question about it.
Well, Jim Krochickia probably had his best game as a quarterback for Penn last week. They're looking for consistency from him. A lot of times it's easier to play quarterback when you're the underdog as opposed to being the favorite.
It sure is, and Krochickia came through from. They've asked Krochickia this year to become the guy who sort of runs the offense. Don't do it all yourself, but share it with everybody else. They knew he had the natural talent to come through under pressure like this, but he really did it, and he did it in the second half, particularly against Navy, with some really clutch touchdown passes.
With Rich Comizio doubtful for this game, is going to be put more pressure on Penn and change them from a running game to a passing game?
The question is, Comizio's had knee and also leg problems, hamstring problems. It is a question whether he'll play today, and if he doesn't, he takes away the outside threat. He really gets on the corner with authority. And if they don't have him today, I think Krochickia is going to have to perform similarly to what he did last week against Navy, throwing the football.
Well, on the other side, Yale starting off slow, losing the first 3 games, and first 3 quarterbacks have come back with 2 wins. Kelly Ryan, the starting quarterback, has come back, had a record-setting performance against Army, and today Koza is going to use him out of the shotgun. Is that going to present any defensive problems for Penn?
I think it will, because Pennsylvania is very impressed with the way Yale protects from the shotgun. Their pass protection schemes are very well done. You really can't put pressure on the quarterback. With that in mind, it may force Pennsylvania to lay back and play coverages, and I think Kelly Ryan, with his ability to throw the ball, could create problems if you just lay back and can't get pressure on him.
Well, Penn is worried. If Yale can give protection to Kelly Ryan, we're going to have a shootout. We'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment. The Ivy League football game of the week is made possible by grants from Chrysler, makers of Plymouth Voyager, where the pride is back. By the financial professionals at Payne Weber. And by GTE, one of whose companies makes Sylvania lighting, over 6,000 types for home photography and industry. There you see the season and series record. Yale leads 36-16-1, but Yale has lost the last 4 prior to that, winning the first 8. So we've got a couple of streaks on the line here.
We do, and Penn has dominated Yale in recent years. Today is a key one for both teams, because if Yale can get into it, and we have every reason to think they can, if they can get into it today, they can become a real legitimate contender with Penn and Cornell for this Ivy League title.
As you see the standings, Harvard and Yale only 1 loss. Cornell and Penn on top, undefeated in Ivy play. Penn undefeated in every play, particularly after that big win last week over Navy.
A tremendous start for Coach Ed Zubrow. In his first year as head coach of Penn, he's got this club undefeated, but he knows getting back into the Ivy League, anything can happen. And he knows his club has to come back today and be ready to play, because Yale knows what's in it for them.
I was talking to him yesterday about the list of coaches' winning percentage prior to the game, and it's 1,000. I said, boy, that's a great percentage. Keep it going. Penn will kick it off to Yale. Buddy Zachary at the 9, the 15, the 20, and knocked down at the 22-yard line. Return of 13 yards. This is how Yale lines up on offense. Athanasiou, the key man there, They go a lot to him. These are two teams that use the tight end frequently. Kelly Ryan, the quarterback, still somewhat bothered by a left knee with torn ligaments. He's wearing a brace, and his mobility is a lot better the last 3 weeks. They give to Jenkins up the middle for about 5. Fumbled but ruled down. Penn's front 3 listed Desir Sebastianelli. Desir, the key man in those 3. Jeff Fortner, linebacker, and a very veteran defensive secondary for the Quakers. 2nd down and 4 at their own 28-yard line. Kelly Ryan with Jenkins and Ted McCauley behind him. They give him McCauley. Got a 1st down. Is out past the 35.
We pick up the play from the end zone. Yale, an I formation team, little sprint draw action, and look at the cutback by the veteran back McCauley. Good blocking on the left side by the captain Ken Lund and the center George Matthews. The Yale offensive line is an experienced one with Lund and Matthews, especially in Chris Martin at the right tackle position.
McCauley, the leading rusher for the Elis this year, as he was last year. 1st down and 10 at their own 37. Croxell in motion to give to Jenkins up the middle, and he gets about 1. Brought down there by nose tackle Dexter Desir. I talked with Carm earlier about how he's going to protect Kelly Ryan when he goes to the shotgun.
Well, one thing we know we have to do is go the shotgun a little bit so he can maneuver a little better. But I will say that in the last couple of weeks he has moved a lot better than he did at the beginning of the year. He's still wearing a brace. He still is hampered with that. And we feel we can do just about anything from the gun that we can from the operation.
Ryan on the roll. Incomplete. Going for his tight end, Athanasia at the 45-yard line. Brad Hines on the defense for Penn.
And when he says he can go to anything, that time he had a little fake on a sweep action. He came up against counter action, and he was looking for his favorite receiver, Dean Athanasia. Athanasia was well covered, forced the ball a little bit in the middle. I am sure that Penn, on a secondary, from the secondary side of things, both in their deep secondary and linebacker core, are going to look to Athanasia in the clutch situations. He's that much of a primary receiver.
Normally, when you think of the shotgun, you think him dropping straight back, but they've incorporated the rolls, the draws, and even motion, as you see McCauley in motion. The roll this time is short to the right. He dumped off McCauley, but incomplete. He had his man open.
They'll come back to that. They just slid McCauley into the flat, cleared the way out with the 2 wide receivers. They'll come back to that. The linebackers have got to cover that. It was wide open. He didn't complete it. Pennsylvania holds on this first series. Yale has to punt.
Much the same philosophy as the multiplex of Harvard, where you overload the zone, hit the man, a short pass who's open. You've got more receivers than they have defenders. 4th down and 9 for the Elis. Don Mulkey, number 9, will punt, and Chris Flynn deep for the Quakers. Put away a high, wobbly kick. Flynn at his own 22, and immediately down. Number 38. Ted Worthman, and number 30, Tom Mercine.
Chris Flynn, as we know, will take the ball and field it anywhere on the field, and that time he used taking those chances. He took the ball and he was hit immediately.
Penn's offensive line, Brent Novoselsky, 3 touchdown receptions in the second half against Navy. Chris Flynn starting for the injured Rich Comizio. Jim Krachicki at quarterback. Andrews in motion. Give to Flynn. And nothing there as he stopped by Mike Ryan, brother of Kelly Ryan. So we got a Ryan on each side of the ball for the Elis. He is their leading tackler so far this year for Yale. The front 5 for the Bulldogs. And there's Mike Ryan and Don Lund, who's the captain of Ken Lund on the offensive side. So we got a number of brother combinations for Yale. 2nd down and 11. Chicky at his own 20. Counter to Flynn. Off right tackle. Gets a block. Breaks the tackle. He's out to the 32-yard line. Very close to a 1st down. before Buddy Zachary brings him down.
And that's the difference with Chris Flynn and Rich Comizio. Comizio's the power runner who likes to get on the corner. Flynn, number 27, is the counter runner, the slashing type who cuts back. Here's a little counter action. Excellent block on the corner by Novoselsky, number 85, the tight end. He gets into the secondary, breaks tackles. At only 5'9", 180, he still is a very strong, tough runner. Chris Flynn.
Outstanding afternoon for Jim Krochickia, a veteran Penn quarterback. First down at his own 32. Novoselsky in motion, the pitch to Flynn. And he's met. Fred Schultz, the middle guard for Yale.
The middle guard is very important always in the Yale defense. They love to have those nose guards that are quick and get beat blocks. And that time, Brett Schulte beat the block, got over to the left side, beat the block of the veteran center, Steve Bonato, and made the play for no gain. And now Penn is 2nd and 10. First start for Chris Flynn in his varsity career today, his varsity career at Pennsylvania.
Flynn shifts back to the I formation. Andrews and Saunders, and there's a mix-up. No whistle. Here. Were you able to control those people? Yeah. All right, well, let's do that then, all right? Let's do it. Get the big split and take it out here. So everything on the cross all week long is their force right now.
That's the offensive line coach for Yale telling him to maintain big splits. They want to stretch that defense a little bit and try to be able to contain him. Can we control the line of scrimmage with our big splits? They said they think they can. And we'll see how that develops as the afternoon goes on.
3rd down and 10 after the 2nd down confusion. Flynn shifts to the double wing formation. Krochickia on the roll to the left, looking for Andrews. He's got him in the flat, and complete at the 47-yard line. First down. Big cushion, and Rob Andrews wide open on the out pattern.
Here we see the secondary coverage. We see the cornerback 48, Zachary, really cushioning here. Much too much he gives here on the wide receiver as he comes down for the catch. Number 24, Andrews. You can't afford on 3rd and long to give him that much of a cushion. Krochickia had plenty of time to complete it, and Penn gets another first down.
At zone 47 to give to Flynn. He darts up to close to midfield and just into Yale territory. Derek Kay on the stop for the Elis.
Again, they like that counter action. They're coming out in the I formation, shifting to a normal pro set, putting Flynn at halfback or in the I at tailback, and running him on counter action, hoping those linebackers will flow with the initial movement and utilize Flynn's quickness and speed to cut him back against the grain.
One of the things that comes from experience in defensive secondary is patterns are usually run in that 12 to 15-yard area, so the defender has to close once the cut is made. Can't keep the 10-yard cushion. Krochickia straight back. Looking underneath Andrews. He's got him complete inside the 40-yard line and another first down.
Defending on the play was Mike Flannery, the cornerback, the senior on that side, number 45, but he could not. They picked underneath. They took the tight end. As you see Krochickia take a normal drop back here. He waits for Andrews to come underneath, and he's got his defender behind him. Good catch, control pattern, and another first down.
Very tough pattern to defend. Coming underneath the coverage and letting him run after he catches it. First down at the Yale 38. Jim Bruni in the game at tailback for the Quakers. Give to the fullback, breaks the tackle. He's inside the 25-yard line. Joe Lorano.
The fullback in the Penn offense carries the ball 6 or 7 times. They're very pleased with this little counter step by 41 Lorano as he breaks back against behind right guard Jim Panzini and Marty Peterson, the big senior right tackle. Big hole on that side. They like to slip the ball to the fullback 6 to 7 times a game, keep people honest inside. Lorano has been a pleasant surprise, averaging over 4.7 yards a carry.
And he was not a starter early in the season. To give to Flynn, cuts back. And he's met there by Zachary.
And there's the difference between Flynn and a Comizio. Flynn is not looking to get on the corner right away. He's looking to start up inside and then break it. Counter, slash. Little different type approach to running on the outside.
Plus, he doesn't have the weight to break a couple of tackles that Comizio does.
Exactly.
2nd down and 6. The Yale 20. 8:07 left to go in the first quarter. No score. again to Flynn. He's off tackle and gets just inside the 20 to the 18. Derek Kay on the stop for Yale.
Interesting, they brought in John Quinn, the senior, at linebacker, at inside linebacker, Yale. John Quinn, the second leading tackler, is at 6'3", 230, an outstanding football player, but he's been injured, and they didn't know whether he could play today.
He's had knee problems. He got hurt 2 weeks ago, but Carm said he would go with him if he felt he could. So he's in there now. 3rd down and 4. Andrews in motion. Give to Lorano up the middle. He's got a 1st down, or very close to it, at the Yale 13-yard line.
The biggest surprise on this team, this Penn team this year, has been their offensive line. They're athletic, they run well, they get off the ball, they get into people. They've been the reason that the Penn offense has been able to generate consistency, and that time you saw Lorano running up behind the interior of that line, Bonato at center, Chris Wilkins at left guard, and Panzini.
What's been outstanding on this drive is the Penn backs have been breaking tackles once they've gotten to the line of scrimmage. Andrews in motion. Pitch to Flynn. Inside the 10. Spins. He's down to the 6-yard line.
If you could write a script, this is the way you'd want to do it. Just control the ball on the ground, work your running backs. That time, Flynn cutting back again, getting upfield, getting good yardage. Number 41, Lorano, the fullback, coming off to the sideline here, limping.
Penn almost unbeatable at home for the last 4 years. Outstanding record.
They have not lost an Ivy League game at home since 1981. There's Ed Zuberow, the head coach, in his first year at the University of Pennsylvania.
Andrews coming out. Penn going with 2 tight ends. Scott Scungio, number 81. And pitch to Flynn. Touchdown, Penn.
Chris Flynn's 6th touchdown of the season.
Penn taking an opening kickoff, driving right down the field. 9-minute drive, and the extra point is good. Penn leads 7-0 with 6:07 left to go in the first quarter.
Coming into this football game, the question was, how much would Rich Comizio play? They knew they could go with Chris Flynn, and here's the toss sweep, running behind number 75, Chris Wilkins, the guard, and there's the cutback, and he can find the end zone. 5'9", 180 pounds, the junior from Springfield, Pennsylvania. Chris Flynn from ground level.
Flynn is benefiting from great offensive line drive. He's getting through the point of attack with not even a defender, so he's really firing off the ball.
Excellent job. The whole left side of the Penn line that time. Scott Ernst, the left guard, at 6'3", 260. The left guard Wilkins and Bonato. And of course, the 2 tight ends they use, Novoselsky, who's a big one at 6'3", 235, and Scungio. They come in on those short yardage, and they really do the job of pushing people off that line of scrimmage. Very impressive opening drive.
12-play drive, taking almost 9 minutes. Jim Grass will kick off for the Quakers. Ball at the 35. Short kick. Zachary at his 9. Out to the 20. Over the 25 and out to the 27. So Yale will put it in play at their own 27.
Ed Zuberow, the Penn coach, was very concerned about the special teams of Yale. He's very impressed by the way they return kickoffs, punts, block kicks, and he knew he had to defend against it. Buddy Zachary's only a sophomore, an excellent punt and kickoff returner. They're really doing a job to try and contain him and not give him any alley. But Yale's got the ball in pretty good field position on their own 32.
Well, we'll see what they do on their second series. Ryan going immediately to the shotgun. Give them McCauley. Spins and gets up to about the 29-yard line. Brad Hines on the stop for Penn.
Very interesting approach to football, to come in the shotgun offense and be prepared to run it a lot of the time and use it in many ways, especially with the running game. We've seen a lot of the shotgun in the pros, but I doubt we'll see the variety of running plays that Yale is ready to execute today.
Well, if he can alleviate that first 4 or 5 yard drop by the quarterback, which is tough on the legs, on the knees, that's what he utilizes by having the shotgun for Kelly Ryan. Troy Jenkins behind Ryan and McCauley at the tailback. Troxell in motion. Fake in the roll. Ryan's looking for, and complete. Rich Schulte, first down for Yale at the 40-yard line.
Excellent play action, counter-type action by Ryan. Fake in here to the fullback, comes out against the grain. He's got a very strong arm, but very impressive how quickly he sets up going to the left and puts the ball into Rich Schulte's hands. Number 8, first down. We know that Kelly Ryan is an outstanding athlete. He really has a fine throwing arm and throwing motion, and at 6'3", he can find those receivers if he has time.
Give to McCauley, and he's close to the 45-yard line. Penalty marker down.
Penalty marker comes from the sideline official. Oftentimes that is against the offense for holding. The referee here is Albert Hines.
Hey, stop there, you big fat slob!
So the penalty is against Yale, and Penn will move the Eli's back. So we got two high-powered offenses here in points and in yardage.
Yale coming into this game is averaging a little over 130.
Face mask on the offense. Decline. Holding. Offense. First down.
Yale comes into this game averaging a little over 135 yards rushing per game and 216 yards passing.
That is a very strange call on the offense for a face mask penalty. But they accept the holding call and moving Yale back to their own 29-yard line. First down and 20, and another penalty marker down. So the Eli is having a little bit of procedural problem early here in the first quarter. And that's what it is. We'll put them back another 5 yards. First down and 25. So it's not the kind of direction that they want to be going here against the Penn defense.
Ball start. Offense.
Ryan showing pretty good mobility so far, wearing that customized brace on his left knee. Joe Lurano, fullback for Penn, has a slightly sprained knee, but he should be back. So Ryan will go from the shotgun. First and 25 from his own 24. David White in motion. Fake to McCauley and looking for Schulte. He's got him on the sideline, and it's complete at the 43-yard line. A beautiful catch by Rich Schulte.
Excellent job by Kelly Ryan, faking again here. Watch, he fakes the sweep and comes against the grain. It's just like a little counter play, and he finds number 28, Tom Zuba, who came in motion up on the sideline behind the cornerback and in front of the free safety, and he just about stays in bounds.
Very close.
Anyway, the official called it in bounds. It's a big play for Yale. They're looking now at a second down and 6.
Back to the I formation. The delay to McCauley, and he doesn't get anything. 30, Jeff Fortner on blitzing from his linebacking position.
Fortner, the senior linebacker, played so well last year as a starter with 77 tackles this year. An outstanding leader in the secondary. Comes up from the corner position and makes the hit in the backfield.
So Yale will look at a third down and 9 from their own 40-yard line. 3:57 left to go in the first quarter. Penn leading 7-0. Ryan in the shotgun. Looking deep. He's got Schulte on a beautiful pass, complete at the 45-yard line and ruled incomplete. dropped it.
That was a slant pattern coming in from the wide out position. You'll see him on the top of the screen. Watch him come down here, and he breaks into the middle, and he comes underneath again. The slot back clears out. He comes over the middle. Looks like he made a great catch, but he did not have possession and fumble the ball on the hit by the cornerback that time. For Penn, Don Wilson, number 21. Let's listen to the referee here.
Offside, defense, third down.
Yale gets a break.
They also get a break. Excuse me, Bob. They also get a break on that call because it looked like he caught that ball. So they will now look at a 3rd down and 4 at their own 45, giving Kelly a few more options for his 3rd down call. Shotgun slot formation to the left. McCauley in motion. Got 3 receivers to the left. He's got McCauley in the flat and the 1st down, the 45, down to the 42. That's the play they ran earlier that McCauley dropped. It was there and the left.
And all it is a flood pattern. They clear out everybody with the wide receiver, and you'll see McCauley come underneath here as Kelly Ryan sprints to the left. McCauley comes underneath. He's wide open. The linebacker's got to get out there to cover him. Instead here, Brad Hines, 46, has to come up to make the play. They're spreading that Penn secondary and linebackers out wide, and they're looking to cover underneath. They're looking to hit underneath.
1st down and 10 at Penn's 43-yard line. They give to Jenkins up the middle, and he gets close to the 40-yard line. Troy Jenkins, a junior out of Canton, Ohio.
Strong, hard runner, good speed inside. They're looking to make a quick trap with him on the early downs just to get enough yardage to keep the people in the middle of that defensive Penn line at home.
2nd down and 7 as the plays are being shuttled in by the wingback position. Troxell and White alternating, bringing the plays in. Ryan in the shotgun. McCauley in motion. Roll to the right. And a quick dump to McCauley's got him again. This time well defended. He got to the 37-yard line. Tom Flynn on the stop for Penn. They smelled that one.
What they're doing is they're keeping him off balance. It's very hard to get pressure. We talked about this in the beginning of the show. It's very hard to get pressure on the quarterback, especially when Ryan is sprinting from that shotgun. And without pressure, it gives the defender, the receivers a chance to get open and get into the seams. That time he hit his tailback coming out of the backfield again. It's almost like a ball possession passing attack that Yale is executing, except it's starting from the shotgun
formation. As long as you stay in the decent down and distance situations, it's a good call. Kelly Ryan from the shotgun again. 3rd down and 6. Quick drop. He's looking for Athanasian. He's got him at 1st down inside the 30-yard line. Threaded the needle on that one.
Thread of the needle is right, and he was covered by Jeff Fortner, who was running behind him. That ball was right there, and good concentration by Athanasia, the big junior from Wilmington, Mass. Number 86, he comes off, he pushes Fortner inside and breaks out, and watch where that ball is, right where it had to be. Big play by Athanasia. Outstanding athlete, started for Yale as a sophomore.
Team leader in receptions, and he's very close. He's got a very good chance, if he stays healthy, to become Yale's all-time leading receiver. 1st down and 10 at the 10-30. They give him a McCauley, the cutback, and he's dropped there. And a penalty marker down.
Football foul, no personal foul here.
That's exactly what it is. Personal foul. It's going to be a late hit as we see McCauley go down. Coming back, making the hit is for Penn, number 99, Brad Hippensteel, the outside linebacker.
So Yale, the benefactor of a number of penalties here, keeping their drives going.
Yeah.
Keeping the drive going and keeping their off.
Personal foul, defense, 1st down.
One of the things that Carm Koza wanted to do today was keep his offense on the field, keep his defense away from that Penn offense, so he's doing that in this drive.
Yale remains in the shotgun. Slot formation. McCauley in motion to the right, the roll to the right, flood to the right. He's looking for White, and he's got him complete at the 10. But pickup of about 5 yards.
And that's good down in this territory. They got to go now. Tighter coverage for Penn. Here comes Kelly Ryan out on a little sprint out action. Again, giving himself time. And he hits the receiver out here Dave White, number 27. Nice catch. Ball in a position very hard to defend against. And it's just like a short run. 2nd down and 5. The ball's sitting on the 10-yard line.
This time under center. Racine at fullback behind him. Give them McCauley. He gets to the 10 and barely inside the 10 to the 9. Brad Hippensteel on the stop for Penn, along with Jeff Fortner.
Penn's got some very active linebackers. The outside linebackers, Hippensteel and Fortner, very aggressive, can really run to the football.
And that's the end of the first quarter. Penn leading 7-0, but Yale knocking on the door. Will change ends. One thing we talked about earlier, Yale having some problems with their defensive personnel as far as injuries. As long as they stay in the field, even in the shotgun, this is a controlled type of offense, they keep Penn's strong offense off the field.
And when you throw the ball, and we know when teams are, it's late game and they're behind and they're always throwing the ball, that puts a lot of pressure on your defense to rush and also to defend. Well, when they come out in the shotgun all the time, the defense is really doing a lot more running to the football, secondary, linebackers, and coverages. It can wear you down a little bit, particularly if you continue to control the ball. And that was what Yale had designed when they came in here against Penn. They didn't want to go to head-to-head with them with the run, the normal sets. They knew they had to spread them with the shotgun, and they're doing it very effectively.
Pretty good crowd here, homecoming weekend. A lot of Penn alumni.
A lot of enthusiasm naturally with the Penn program that's been so successful in recent years, but particularly coming off that great win they had last week at Navy.
Penn beginning the season 5-0. The last time they're undefeated, 1947, so it doesn't happen very often. Yale will look at a 3rd down and 4 at the Penn 9. With an experienced kicker, probably not 4-down territory. Ryan with a pretty good first quarter. Truxell in motion. Ryan stays in the pocket, looking for Athanasiou. He's got him in the end zone, incomplete. Hit him on the break, but just a little bit too high for Dean Athanasiou.
Great hit there. You're going to see a terrific hit by Hippensteel, number 99. This is a straight drop back. He's looking to the left side. Athanasiou coming to the right side. Athanasiou just breaking on the same pattern he caught before. The ball is there. But a big hit on the corner right there by number 99, Brad Hippensteel, the outside linebacker.
He gunned it in there, and it's probably a ball Athanasiou thinks he should have had. Sure will get more chances throughout the afternoon. John Duryea into attempt the field goal from the 16, 26-yarder, and it's good. So Yale's on the board. Now trailing 7-3. 10 seconds into the second quarter.
Impressive drive, important because they kept possession and they got some points out of it. You know how discouraging it could be when you march the entire field and come away with nothing. At least they came back with 3, and they showed that they can control the ball throwing against this Penn defense.
Ryan really zips it in there, and if he throws it on the break the way he did to Athanasiou on that 3rd down attempt, he's going to be tough. So Duryea will, good on the field goal, will kick it for the Elis at the 35. Deep for Penn, number 42, Jim Brunia, and 27, Chris Flynn. Flynn doing a lot of duty. Punt returns, kickoff returns, and now starting his first game at tailback. Time of possession in the first quarter, Yale 8 minutes and Penn just under 7. So Yale wins the battle of possession, although trailing 7-3. Duryea with a kick, short and near the sideline. Flynn's got it at the 15, the 20, out to the 30, the 35, and knocked out of bounds at the 36. Mike Donnelly runs him out of bounds, but not before he gets back, putting Penn in good field position.
Excellent job, but watch the front wall here come up in wedge number 99 for Yale out of the picture, and that's the ability of Chris Flynn. He finds that little seam. He jumps through there. He's got that ability. He's looking to cut it back all the time, but he's got great field position for the ball on the Penn 36-yard line.
Jim Krochicki, the quarterback. Yale jumps, but not offside to give to Flynn. He breaks a tackle. He's out to the 44-yard line. Flynn's got that very deceptive speed and balance.
Brett Schulte, the middle guard for Yale, got penetration, got in the backfield. You'll see him, but look at the ability of Flynn to sort of slip blocks right here, slip tackles right here, and there's the quickness, and he gets up into the seam. He likes to cut back. He's always looking to cut back or counter.
38 yards now for the afternoon. Chris Flynn is now over the 1,000-yard mark for career. Novoselsky in motion. Quick pitch, and he looks for Novoselsky. He's wide open. Down to the 30 and down to the 25. First down, Pennsylvania.
They use Brent Novoselsky, the tight end. They put him in the backfield, put him in motion, change strength of the formation. Here they do a little quick fake to the fullback. He's come in motion, and he comes around into the middle, and they lose him. The linebackers lose him, and he's up the middle, and he's got the speed, as he showed last week against Navy, to go deep against you. Big gain for Pennsylvania's offense.
Well, there's nothing more effective to open that play action than the effective running game, and Penn has showed it. First down and 10 at the Yale 25-yard line. Pitch to Comizio for first carry of the afternoon, and he gets about 3.
We did not expect to see Rich Comizio today. He's been nursing a leg injury, and he's coming out right now, but they decided they'd practice him early in pregame, see how he looked. If he felt up to it, perhaps they'd use him in spot duty. There's an example of it. There's his totals this year. 502 yards, over 5 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns.
Second down and 7. The fake and the give up the middle to Tom Clark. Gets just inside the 20-yard line.
Clark in at fullback. He's a senior. At 5'10", 200 pounds. He's in for Joe Lorano, who hurt his knee a little bit earlier in this game. I'm not sure whether we'll see Lorano back or not. They had him on the sideline with an ice pack on it. So into the game comes Clark.
One of the luxuries that Coach Ed Zubrow has is depth in the backfield. They're running players in and out and not really losing anything. Clark was the starter to open the season. Third down and 5. Give to Comizio, and he stopped. Number 42, Derek Kay, was waiting for him at the 20-yard line.
Derek Kay, the monster back in the Yale defense and secondary, coming in from the backside, catching Comizio before he could cut back against the grain with a counter move.
Fourth down and 5, so field goal situation for Penn. Jim Glass will attempt it from the Yale 27-yard line, making it a 37-yard kick. Ball is up, and it's good. 37 yards. 11:54 left to go in the first half. Penn 10 and Yale 3.
Coming into this ball game, we expected a lot of offense out of both these clubs. They've got that kind of attack that can score for you. It's 10-3. Both teams have moved the ball on each other. It'll be interesting to see who settles in and finally takes control of this game. But I know that Karmkoza's got to feel good here in the second period, only trailing by 7 points. He's going to get the ball back. Pennsylvania's going to defend against Kelly Ryan and the passing game out of the shotgun.
Well, the other thing, Bob, is both offenses are showing very high percentage type plays. The off tackle, the cutbacks, the short flares and screen, or not screens, but the play action. It's really high percentage and a nice way of moving up and down the field.
Well, there's an incredible record right there, and you know you were part of that.
9 Ivy titles in 21 seasons. Very enviable record for head coach Carmen Koza. Jim Grass will kick it off for Penn. Deep for Yale, Kevin Bryce and Buddy Zachary standing inside the 5-yard line. short kick. Zachary at his own 16. To the 25, to the 30, 35. One man to beat. Over midfield and down at the 45-yard line. Buddy Zachary.
And that's what they were fearful of. The special teams of Yale, they've been very effective. Zachary, the sophomore, the fleety running back from Manchester, Connecticut. Watch him get up behind some excellent blocking in the middle by the Yale kickoff return team. And he's got the speed to get up into that seam. And Yale's got the football on the Penn 45-yard line. Big return for Yale.
We talked to the officials earlier in the game. We knew they were going to be running up and down. They're going to have to stay in shape for this game. Kevin Bryce in motion. Ryan on the roll left. Looking for White, and it's incomplete. Well covered there by number 10, Tom Flynn.
Tom Flynn came up from the cornerback position, and that time Kelly Ryan waited too long. By the time he got the ball to White, Flynn had him covered, and he was fortunate enough to get the ball in there without an interception. But here you see it, and Flynn's got a chance to come up and make a play, as he does with the right hand around, and made a big play on the receiver White.
This shows the strength of the arm of Kelly Ryan, because White was well covered, but he still almost had a completion. Second down and 10 at the 45. Ryan operating out of shotgun, stays in the pocket. Short dump, and he's got McCauley. It's tipped, but he's got a first down at the 32-yard line. Ball was tipped.
Great concentration by McCauley. Ted McCauley, the senior from Saratoga Springs, California, has really done a lot for Yale over the last 3 years. He hangs in here. The ball is, as we see it, is touched right there. He makes the catch, but he slips the tackle here just in time so he can get upfield and get the first down. McCauley, 6 foot, 195 pounds.
I say Bob was Kevin Bryce. He's 25, McCauley's 26, so we got to keep a close eye on those numbers. Great concentration by Kevin Bryce, the sophomore. Give. Bryce gets about 3 inside the 30-yard line. Brought down there by number 46, Brad Hines.
Okay, getting to Kevin Bryce, the sophomore from Chicago, Illinois. He's been playing a lot. He's rushed thus far for 198 yards. He's gone over 200 yards this season. He's a sophomore. Carm Koza thinks a lot of him because he's not only got some good size, but he's got some real speed.
Had a 62-yard run from scrimmage last week against Columbia. So they don't drop off much when he comes in the game for McCauley. Mike Lista, shaken up for Penn, walks off under his own power, so we'll have to wait to see if he can return.
Lister is a junior. He's had an outstanding year. There he is, playing defensively. His brother was the captain here in 1983. They need him. He's a very active defensive lineman for him at 6'3", 245.
Second down and 6 to give to Mercine. Off tackle and nothing there. Stacked up. Hines, along with Bruce McConnell from his inside linebacking position.
We're looking at Athanasia, number 86, putting the block on Fortner, number 30, but Fortner just plays off it. And the senior linebacker, the outside linebacker, makes a big hit as the back, Mercine, tries to break it outside. Okay, Yale's looking at another 3rd and long, 3rd and 7.
Out of the I formation, Ryan under the center. Stays in the pocket. The short dump to White and incomplete. 99, Brad Hippensteel all over White.
What's happening now are that the Penn linebackers are starting to read the routes of the Yale receivers, and as they come underneath, they're taking a more aggressive approach and coming up and meeting them before the ball gets there. It's going to be tough. Yale's going to have to push them back a little bit and try and hit the intermediate passes or go deep once in a while to get those linebackers out of the tight coverage, the tight short coverage.
What they got to do, they can't hook because it's easy coverage for a linebacker to cover hook. They got to move even on the short flare passes. 4th down and 7. Yale going for it. Bryce in motion. Ryan on the row. Throwing deep for Troxell and incomplete and out of bounds. Tom Flynn on the coverage. He had him all the way. Yale going for it on 4th down.
Tom Flynn, a very versatile athlete. He's a cornerback. He's a senior, and he runs very well. He was step for step with him. They did try to go deep and beat him deep that time. But they turned the ball over here to Pennsylvania on their own 29-yard line.
2:36 left to go in the half. Penn ahead 10-3. Going for their 6th straight win in the 1986 season. First down and 10 at their own 29. Jim Krochicki, the quarterback. Long count. Play action, the fake, the screen set up. He's got Flynn. He's got some blockers. The 35 and run out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Mike Flannery on the stop for Yale. The fake to Flynn and the screen to Flynn.
A very good call on first down. Good strong fake in here, and then they let him slide to the right side, as you see. Krochicki waits long enough to get those defenders on top, and he just gives them the ball, and out in front of him is 68 Panzini and Bunato, the center, number 60. Good play. Second down, very short.
Second down and less than 1. Novoselsky in motion. They give to Comizio, and he's up over the 40-yard line for a first down. Derek Kay.
Comizio coming in and playing some, and here's an interesting score in the first quarter. Princeton leads Harvard 14-0.
That is a surprise. Princeton struggling in the last few weeks, and Harvard having a big score last week against Dartmouth. We'll be at Palmer Stadium again next week. Princeton hosting these Penn Quakers. First down and 10, 41-yard line. Pitch to Flynn, cuts it back, breaks the tackle. Out to the 47-yard line. Buddy Zachary along with Dave Sullivan on the stop for Yale.
Again, you've got to always be aware of his ability to stop on you and sort of stagger for a while and then generate from a starting position. And that's what makes Flynn so difficult to tackle. And Yale's going to have to get penetration. You're going to have to try and upset him and not give him a chance to cut back. But, of course, they're working against an experienced Penn line with lots of size and lots of good blocking.
Play action. He's got his man at the 47-yard line. 20, Tom Joyce had double wide receivers.
Joyce...
Andrews going deep and leaving a lot of open space short for Tom Joyce.
But what Penn is doing now, they're getting out of the running mode completely, and they're starting to mix up their plays. And Krochicki is coming with the play action, throwing on the early downs. That'll disrupt the Yale defense to where they're not sure what's coming and keeps them unsettled and opens up a whole bunch of things, particularly in the running game for Penn. So they're throwing on the early down much more than they did earlier in this season.
Plus the effort that Krochicki had last week has to do nothing but have great confidence for the rest of the season. Flynn there, stop but no gain. Chuck Bray in his defensive end position. Krochicki is staying in down and distance situations that are ideal for a quarterback. They're all pretty much run situations, so he can do either run or pass.
Ed Zuberow, the Penn coach, said we were hopeful coming into this year that Jim Krochicki would just lead us. We didn't expect him to do it all. We have other people that can complement him. We just want him to operate at that quarterback position, give us the kind of balance we need. Take whatever the defense gives you.
Long count. Give to Comizio off tackle. He's got a block. He's down to the 41-yard line. A pickup of about 6.
Very good job by number 76, Marty Peterson, the tackle. As he comes across, you see him at the bottom of the screen come across and trap as Comizio runs his counter play. He bakes the hold, picks off the linebacker, number 29, Mike Ryan, which makes it possible for Comizio to make that kind of yardage.
Comizio not having the burst that he had earlier in the season, playing on a lot of guts this afternoon. Third down and 4 at the Yale 42-yard line. 3 quick receivers. Krochicki on the roll, being pressured, lets it go. He's got Flynn, and he's got it. Oh, incomplete. He had it and dropped it. He was behind the secondary.
That time as Krochicki comes out here, he's on a complete sprint out. He's going to get pressured, and he's going to get hit. Just as he releases the ball, you're going to see number 44 for Yale come in there and make a big hit on him. And as he hits him, he just delivers the ball, and Flynn, with his leaping ability, almost makes a big play out of it.
Oh, welcome. John Rissler on the hello tackle. Jim Krochicki. Low snap. Fosnot gets it away, and it goes out of bounds at the 8-yard line. So he handles the bad snap, and puts Yale deep in the hole.
But more importantly, with the score 10-3 and Penn once again driving, Yale held on. Forced them to punt the ball, and they're staying close in this ball game. That's very important.
6:26 left to go in the half. Penn 10 and Yale 3.
First time that Yale will start deep in their own territory. It'll be interesting to see whether they go to their shotgun this deep in their own territory.
You know he's confident when they're doing it this deep in their territory, because a bad snap could be catastrophic for Yale. The fake to Bryce, the roll to Ryan, throws back. It's got Athanasia, and a penalty marker down.
Again, looking for Athanasia coming across. The ball was late, but because the ball was late, the defender came up and made a hit on Athanasia, and he's going to be called for interference.
Very dangerous call, throwing back against the grain, particularly when it's late. Got away with it.
Big break for Yale. Pushes that ball up over the 15-yard line.
Pass interference, spot foul, first down.
And they get a first down out of it.
So Yale having a distinction that not many teams have had this year, scoring on Penn in the first half. First down at their own 19. Kelly Ryan under center. Give to Bryce. He cuts it back out over the 25-yard line before brought down by number 59, Art Sebastianelli.
Sebastianelli, the defensive tackle, 59, making the play.
Well, there are injuries all over the field today, not only on the field but off the field. We've got a down cheerleader for Penn.
That may have occurred on one of the out-of-bounds play, as that last play that happened with Krochicki and Flynn on the sideline. Somebody rolled out of bounds.
Second down and 3 at the Yale 26. Ryan again, the give to Bryce, and very close to a first down.
They go back into the I formation just on occasion to keep them a little bit off balance, working the tailback and the fullback. That time it was the tailback, Bryce, carrying the football.
And he does pick up a first down. So the second one in a row puts Yale out at the 29-yard line. 5.5 minutes left to go in the first half, trailing 10-3 to the Penn Quakers and defending Ivy champions. Ryan lines up in the shotgun. Bryce in motion. Mercine, the fullback, on the roll left. Throws it out of bounds.
That time, the coverage was excellent in the secondary by the free safety, Jim Fangmeyer, for Penn. And also, Kelly Ryan started to see a little bit of pressure for the first time. And here he just lets the ball go out of bounds and gets hit as he throws the ball off.
Not counted as a sack, but counted in the quarterback's bruises when he checks it the next day.
Right, he knows they're there. He knows they're there. But thus far, you've got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line for Yale. They've given Kelly Ryan a chance to throw the ball and execute. And if he gets time, he can pick you apart.
They're showing a lot of poise, throwing it out as opposed to forcing it in. The draw to Bryce. Breaks the tackle by Hines. He's up over the 35-yard line, and he's still on his feet. Very close to the 40 and very close to a first down. Kevin Bryce, sophomore out of Chicago.
Bryce, number 25 at 5'10", 200. You see him from the low angle take this little handoff and follow his blockers up on the left side. He's 46. Brad Hines, the rover, does not make the play, gives Bryce a chance to get going, and he gets upfield. He's a tough, hard inside runner with good speed. He was the top rusher on the freshman team last year with 659 yards, so he can run.
So Yale with its third consecutive first down, out at the 40-yard line. Ryan on the roll, the dump to Bryce, the penalty marker down, and he's smothered back at the 35. Brad Hines, that time on the stop.
This play was very well diagnosed by the Penn defense because they tried to flare him out. By the time they got the ball, here's the call. By the time they got the ball out to him, the secondary had reacted, particularly Hines, the rover back, who plays to the strong side of the formation, and he never had a chance.
Well, as often as Kelly Ryan is rolling out of the...
Holding, offense, declines, 2.
They'll take the loss and the down, and they'll force him at 2nd and 15.
They're saying as often as Kelly Ryan is rolling out of the pocket, it really limits his receiving area to the front side. He's going to have to come back with some backside just to keep the Penn defense honest and at home.
That's a very good point. He's limiting the field, his vision. He's got to be able to counter so people don't all flow or flood to the area he's looking to throw.
Slot formation, low snap. Ryan handles it this time to his right. He's looking for Bryce. He's got him. Complete and very close to another first down at midfield. Brad Hines becoming a common name on the stop for Penn. And very active linebacker.
And you see how deep Kelly Ryan is. It's very hard to get pressure with him. His primary receiver there, the tight end Athanasia, was covered as he crossed, and he just came to his outlet, who hooked up on the outside and just slid into the flat. And there he is, number 25, Kevin Bryce, alternating at tailback with the senior Ted McCauley. Very impressive so far.
Well defended by Penn secondary. It was the late opening by Bryce that Ryan was able to stick the ball into him. So they're throwing 3 receivers at 5 defensive backs. It's tough to throw with those kind of odds. Going to measure for first down. About 6 inches short, right at midfield. So that will bring up a 3rd down and less than the length of a football. Yale moving the ball, beginning from their own 8-yard line, now at midfield. Taking a lot of time off the clock and keeping Penn's offense off the field. Bryan under center. 4 minutes left to go in the half. White in motion. Gives to McCauley. Breaks it down. It's Kevin Bryce. Got a first down. Down to the 25-yard line. Kevin Bryce.
There you see the speed of this kid. He could break the line of scrimmage again. He's got the balance. He's got the size at 5'10", 200, and he's got the speed. And he broke that line of scrimmage. They were looking for a play for a first down, and he cut it back against the grain. And there you see it. He bounces off, and the whole Penn left side over pursues and gave him a chance to make that big play. And this is what Yale is looking for. This gives them a big lift. They're moving the football in the air and on the ground against Penn. And Ed Zuberow, coming into this game, was concerned about that. He's coming off a big victory against Navy. He just had to hope his team was up and ready to play this week.
One of the things about an aggressive defense is sometimes they over-pursue. Bryce taking advantage of that on that last play. Ryan, quick feet, throws behind Athanasia.
That was a tough pass. That's one of the few passes that Kelly Ryan has thrown poorly. He threw it behind Dean Athanasia, his big tight end, number 86, and really didn't give him a chance. It was a tough catch for him. But they went to it on first down. They're looking here with the ball sitting on the 24-yard line to throw the ball in any situation, which puts a lot of pressure on that Penn defense. They really don't know what to expect here.
Ryan showing a little nervousness there. You notice when the quarterback starts to run in place, the feet get a little nervous. It's nice to stay on the balls, but that a little nervous and threw it behind Athanasia. So it'll bring up a 2nd down and 10. To give to Bryce. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another tackle. And a run, he's knocked out of the line of scrimmage, but a great effort just to get back to there. Donald Wilson from his cornerback position runs Bryce out right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, he didn't gain any yardage, but he sure came away from taking a big loss. He keeps the ball deep in their territory in the 24-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 10. In this situation, we have seen 2 things happen. He's come to his tight end, Athanasia, who's usually going to get man coverage with a linebacker or the back out of the backfield, particularly Kevin Bryce, the tailback. Into the game at tailback now is Ted McCauley for Kevin Bryce.
Tom Racina, fullback, White and Schulte are the wide receivers. Ryan right in the pocket. Throws quick over the middle of White, and he's got him at a first down, out of bounds at the 11-yard line. The type of thing we talked about earlier, the backs out of the backfield have got to run away from the linebackers. When they hook, they're easy to cover by the linebackers. Here he is, White, coming underneath across the middle. Good lead by Ryan and run out of bounds, not before he gets a first down.
And he got man coverage. He knew deep in his territory the field is shrinking. He's going to get tighter coverage. Brad Hines, the rover back, was trying to cover the wide receiver White coming across, and he was 2 steps behind him.
toughest pass for a linebacker to cover, the underneath and running away from. So first down at the 11-yard line. Pressure. He gets rid of it and incomplete. Ruled not a sack. There's no in-the-grass rule here in college football.
They substituted number 38, Dave Smith. You see him right there, Penn, at the rover back position. You'll see him blitzing from the near side of your screen here. He's coming on Kelly Ryan. He gets in, disrupts him, looks like he has him, but the athletic ability of Ryan at least gives him a chance to throw the ball away and not take the loss. Again, Penn trying to change up, trying to come after him, put a little pressure on him. They can't afford to let Kelly Ryan sit back there and have a chance to throw the football. He's got too strong and accurate an arm.
Second down and 10. Ryan on the roll to the left, out of the shotgun. Throws it for Troxell and incomplete, overthrown in the end zone. He had his man, but there were a lot of pressure. Jim Fangmeyer on the coverage for Penn.
The time they get, again, the tight coverage with the free safety covering Troxell, the split receiver in the corner of the end zone. Incomplete pass, third down and 10, ball on the 11-yard line.
Similar to what we saw with Harvard with the multiplex, when you throw all your receivers out, you have very little protection, and you got to get rid of it quickly. So consequently, you've got to make some of the patterns a little bit shorter cuts, so he has a chance to get rid of the ball. A lot of pressure on Kelly Ryan. 2:55 left to go in the half. Third down and 10. McCauley in motion. Penalty marker down, and he's got Zuba at the 2-yard line, but a penalty marker down. I think it was on Ryan, who backed up before the snap.
That's exactly what happened.
Which you're allowed to do. Unfortunately, McCauley was in motion, so two people are in motion. You can't do that.
Good call, Brian. You're absolutely right. Let's hear it. You're going to see Kelly Ryan. There's the man in motion going across the screen. Kelly Ryan backing out before the ball was snapped, and he gets caught for that.
So one thing that happens in the shotgun that can't happen under center, you don't leave until you get the ball. In the shotgun, there's nobody holding you in, so you have a tendency sometime to back up on those pocket passes.
Shift on the offense.
Okay, that pushes the ball back outside the 15. The ball sitting just on the 16-yard line. Kelly Ryan, the Yale offense, looking at third down and 15.
I wouldn't be surprised, too, Bob, if we see a crossing pattern underneath as opposed to going to the sideline. It's a very tough pass to throw, and the lane is a lot tighter than over the middle.
In these pressure situations, you usually come to the guys that have delivered for you. Ryan, thus far, is 10 of 20 for 100 yards.
Balanced wide receivers. McCauley in motion. A roll to the left. Throws back. He's got Schulte and incomplete at the 8-yard line. Had his man, but it would have been short of a first down.
But he was looking to the front side of the formation, to the left. He was looking to the flooded area. Schulte came open late, and he threw to Schulte as an outlet and threw the ball behind. Lots of pressure from the Penn defense that time. They're starting to get that pressure in front of him, let him get rid of that ball a little sooner. But Yale driven the length of the field again. No touchdown, but a chance at coming away with another score as they go for a field goal.
John Duryea will attempt his second field goal of the game from the 22-yard line, 32-yard attempt. James Griffin will hold it. The ball is down. And it's good. So Yale on the board with their second field goal cuts Penn's lead to 4 points with 2:12 left to go in the first half. Yale controlling the ball from their own 8-yard line, driving all the way down to Penn's 10. So taking a lot of time off the clock and keeping Penn's offense off the field. John Duryea, veteran kicker for the Elis, very confident, puts through his second attempt.
He came into this game 0 for 5 in field goal attempts. His first two chances today, he hit both of them. John Duryea, number 5. Again, Karamkoza wanted to take time off that clock with his offense. He's done that so far in this first half, and he stayed close to Penn, and that's the key in this ball game. He's got to stay close enough to where if he gets the turn of events and gets an opportunity, he can win this football game. 13 plays in that drive. It took a little over 4 minutes. They went 77 yards, came up with 3 points on the 32-yard field goal.
So Duryea will kick it away, a low squibbler, and a bounce, and recovered at the 28-yard line. A very effective kick for Yale. Smothered there by number 51, Tom Gizzi, for Penn. Not looking to take a chance and return it, but just falling on it after it bounces off his chest, and a very tough ball to handle.
Penn's got the ball on their own 33-yard line and 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. Let's see if Jim Crocicchia puts this ball up and tries to get a score before the half.
Clark and Flynn, the running backs, that give to Flynn on the counter, cuts it back, and he's out to the 34-yard line. Pickup of about 5. Andy Dudley on the stop for Yale.
Again, Chris Flynn always looking to cut it back, looking for that little opening, that little seam, and then he bursts and gets the good yardage.
2nd down and 4 at their 34. Novoselsky moves back in motion from his tight end position. A draw to Flynn. He's got some room up over the 40 and tripped up. First down for Penn. Number 29, Mike Ryan, tripped him up right at the 38-yard line.
Chris Flynn now with 13 rushes for 56 yards.
And Penn takes a timeout.
Takes a timeout. They want to stop that clock, give themselves a chance to look at something that can get them upfield and get some points before the half. They want to get a score. Jim Crocicchia has come over to the sideline. There is Chris Flynn, 13 rushes, 56 yards in this first half. First time he started in his varsity career here at Penn. The junior from Springfield, Pennsylvania.
And going over 1,000 yards for his career at Penn.
Exactly. There you see Jim Crocicchia, the senior quarterback, talking with the offensive coordinator, Dick Maloney, on the sideline.
So Penn has got good field position at their own 41-yard line. A minute and a half to go in the first half. Plenty of time to get at least into field goal range.
You got to remember that with Chris Flynn in the backfield, he can become a receiver for you. He can also become a passer for you. He's got the ability. So there's a whole bunch of things that come into play here, and you got to look for the unusual in this offense, and Yale has to be ready for it. They can't afford to give him anything deep.
Well, they're definitely in the 2-minute situation and position on the field. So I would think he would go for the medium passes, hope for a reception, and hope for a break tackle to get into field position for a field goal or a touchdown pass. Crocicchia on the roll to the left. He's looking for Novoselsky. He's got him at the 50, and he's out of bounds at the 45. And that play took 7 seconds.
A beautifully executed play. They flooded that zone. They put number 27 up in the slot just to occupy the linebacker inside, which gave Novoselsky, the second receiver, breaking to the sideline on the 50-yard line, an opportunity to get open, catch the ball, get the first down, get out of bounds, and stop the clock.
So both teams using the same type of pass patterns, flooding the zone with the short flare man underneath. The other two men clearing out the deep coverage. First down at the Yale 45. Minute 23 left to go in the half. Crocicchia deep in the pocket. A lot of time. He's throwing long, and it's intercepted by Sullivan. The own 5-yard line. So Penn will be denied in their 2-minute drill.
And they were looking for the junior Tom Joyce, number 20, and that time Crocicchia had plenty of time. He couldn't even believe the time he had to throw the ball, and he threw it up much too short. And that was the interception, and that's what Yale needed. Now with a minute and 15, Yale will take the football, probably sit on it for a while, try and run out the clock, and go in at halftime trailing only by 4 points.
Well, if he hasn't learned by now, he knows after that pass that if you throw late, you don't throw deep late, and you don't throw deep over the middle late. Got
That's
too
exactly
many,
right.
Too many center fielders by the time the ball finally comes down.
If you look at the majority of your interceptions in this game, they come in the middle, either with linebackers getting a good drop or your secondary playing the football in the middle. That's where your interceptions come from.
So Kelly Ryan under center. And a give to Bryce. Gets barely back to the line of scrimmage, but they will be very happy to run out the clock.
Penn has at least 2 timeouts remaining. They don't seem like they want to use it and stop that clock.
Under a minute to go. Yale trailing 10-6. Very much in this football game. There's Carm Koza along with Seb Laspina on the right. The offensive coordinator has been with Carmen all of his 22 seasons at Yale.
Get two! Get two!
Give this time to Jenkins, and he's smacked down there by Mike Graves.
Mike Graves, 55. Now they're going to call a timeout. Now with 29 seconds, they're going to call a timeout.
Well, they only had 2 left, so they had to let the first play run and just hope for the second down to be time to be called right after the second down. There's Carmen Koza.
Yeah, he's got to be pleased with the effort of his club in his first half. He knew he was coming in up against a very strong Penn team. Very impressed with what they did against Navy, as everybody in the country was. And he's got to be pleased that he's down only 10-6 and that close. So he wants to hold the ball here. He doesn't want any mistakes. He wants to go in at halftime and say, hey, play this as no-score game. Nothing. We're in this thing, and we're battling them.
That last tackle, nose tackle, Mike Graves, is the brother of Butch Graves, the outstanding basketball player that Yale had a couple seasons ago.
That's right. Michael's here as the nose guard. He's a sophomore. He's 6'1", 250, and they are pleased with his progress. He was a leading tackler on the freshman team a year ago, and he came on good in preseason, very strong, and has played very well for Penn. So here we are. We've got 29 seconds left. 1 timeout remaining for Penn. The ball is sitting on the 2-yard line. You can't afford to have a mistake down here. No missed snaps, as you well know. You got to really stay with your quarterback.
So Penn will more than likely call timeout following 3rd down and at least have the opportunity to have a run back on the punt or go after the punt on 4th down. Ryan out of the shotgun from his own end zone. McCauley in motion, looking to throw. He lets it go down the sideline, and it's out of bounds. Number 92, Wayne Detmer, the intended receiver for Yale, but well covered, and a penalty marker's down.
The penalty is going to go against Yale. There's a penalty in the offensive backfield and also upfield. Let's listen to the official.
So we've got offsetting penalties. Offensive interference on Yale and a personal foul on Penn. So the down will be replayed, and to Yale's advantage because they get another down.
Ryan's last 4 passes have been incomplete passes, but of course he's been in tough field position throwing the football. There you see the Yale sideline. They don't want a mistake here. They want to kill this clock and go in at halftime trailing 10-6.
I'm a little surprised they went out of the shotgun from the end zone. So you never know with a bad snap. Why chance it if you can avoid it?
But I think Carm feels coming into this game, Carm Koza feels he's got to do everything to try and win it, and he's got everything to gain here.
3rd and 13 from their own 2. Ryan under center. They give to McCauley, and he gets over the 5-yard line, and Penn calls timeout.
That's their last timeout. There's 16 seconds on the clock. They're going to regroup here. You've always got the possibility with Chris Flynn as a punt returner of bringing that thing back all the way, and he's dangerous. The choice here is, do they go after the kicker and try and block it, or do they try and return this with 16 seconds on the clock?
And with that gain, it also gives Yale the chance to at least line up in the full punt formation as opposed to a short punt formation had the ball remained on the 2-yard line. So 4th down and 9 from their own 7.
And they've got 10 people up on the line of scrimmage. Chris Flynn, the sole returnee, back here on the 50 to 45-yard line.
So Yale will kick it away from their own 7, and more than likely we'll see a lot of pressure on that punter.
And that tells it all. That's why you call timeout with 16 seconds. You got a shot with Chris Flynn, that kind of a return average.
You know, the other thing that can be done here on a short kick, if he fair catches it, they can free kick it from where he fair catches without any rush for a field goal. So it's something I don't know if he knows about, but it's a possibility.
Well, I'm sure that's been covered by their specialty team coaches. The kicking game is very important in the
Don Mulkey, the punt for Eli, gets it away barely. Flynn, fair catch at the 37-yard line, so they do have the opportunity to free kick it. We'll see what Ed Zubrow calls. A penalty marker down in the end zone. And it's, unfortunately for Penn, it's running into the kicker.
And the play was called against Dave Smith, the sophomore roverback who came in there, number 38, and he gets called for roughing the kicker, and this pushes the ball out and gives Yale a chance to sit on the football here with 10 seconds left before the end of the half.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense. First down.
Here it is again. Multi in his end zone. Just barely gets the kick away. If you don't get the kicker, if you don't get the ball, you can't get the kicker. So he's knocked down, giving Yale a first down. That was a real chess game on that play because Flynn, on the fair catch, he could free kick it from the 37. It would only be a 47-yard field goal, easy with no pressure. Or if he runs it back, the clock stops on change of possession. So it's, but it's all for naught as Yale holds on to the ball with 10 seconds to go in the first half, trailing 10-6. McCauley in motion. Ryan on the roll left. Looking for White, and batted away, number 30, Jeff Fortna.
What a great job by Fortna, the outside linebacker, number 30, step for step on number 27, White, the wide receiver. Beautiful job of coverage. There he is, number 30, Jeff Fortna.
And we've got another penalty flag.
Well, we've had a lot of penalties in this game. Yale has made three of their 13 first downs have come by way of the penalty.
So this one goes against the Eli's, knocking them back to their own 11. 6 seconds to go in the half.
Holding on the offense. Repeat first down.
So first down and 20 from their own 11. Ryan lining up in the shotgun. Jenkins and McCauley the backs. Truxell the wing back. McCauley goes in motion. Ryan again on the roll to the left. And he throws it for an incomplete. Number 92, Wayne Detmer. And that finally ends the first half with Penn ahead of Yale 10-6. We'll return to halftime activities at Franklin Field after this word from your local public television station.
From the beta deck of the video liner QE3, we're quite extraordinary WQEX Channel 16 in Pittsburgh.
On a blustery day in March of 1985, Channel 16's little transmitter that couldn't anymore. It had broken down for the very last time, and because it was so terribly old, replacement parts could no longer be found. Thus it happened that the little black and white television station went dark. It seemed to be the end of WQEX. But for the last year and a half, unbeknownst to the world, WQEX has been rebuilding. There's a bright new staff, shiny new facilities, fresh new programming, and a brand new transmitter. And so it came to be that WQEX 16 signed on this morning in living color.
They're really rocking in Boston and Pittsburgh, PA.
And tonight, October 16th, 1986, WQEX is coming out with its very own Sweet 16 party. We're here to celebrate what promises to be quite extraordinary television.
You come on like a dream, peaches and cream, lips like strawberry wine. You're 16, you're beautiful, and you're mine, oh mine. If I should smile with sweet surprise, it's just that you've grown up before my very eyes. You've turned into the prettiest girl I've ever seen. Happy birthday, sweet 16.
And now, to take us to WQEX 16...
10-6 as the sun begins to peek out behind the clouds here at Franklin Field. The scoring started with Penn going 70 yards for the opening touchdown on a 6-yard run by Chris Flynn with 6:07 that go in the first quarter, taking a 7-0 lead. Yale coming back on a field goal by John Duryea, a 26-yarder, just into the second quarter, putting Yale behind by just 4 points. Penn answered with a field goal in the second quarter, and Yale came back with their second to make the score 10-6 at halftime. We'll be back to Franklin Field in a moment, but first let's profile an important member of the Yale community, Professor Robert Ferris Thompson.
When Benno Schmidt Jr. was recently sworn in as Yale's 20th president, the familiar face of Master Robert Thompson could be seen in the procession of the university's elite faculty. The air of confidence remains the same today as when he entered Yale as a freshman in 1951. Since 1964, Professor Thompson has been on the faculty, instructing students in the history of Afro-American art. Nicknames like Funky Bob or the Funk describe his classroom demeanor by the students. Professor Thompson explains how he came to Yale.
Okay, fine, perfect. Well, it's easy to explain what happened. I was hit by all those beats. I was fascinated with them. And there were no Afro-American courses then in the 50s. There was, I think, one course in African history taught by Harry Rudine. So I had to sort of make up my own curriculum. What pushed me into it is I was interested in Afro-Cuban music. So then I went to Havana in '59 and earlier in the 50s. And I discovered that 4 African languages were being spoken there, like Church Latin. So then I turned left from Havana, went to Africa, and I've been tracing the roots back and forth ever since.
Since 1978, Thompson has been master of Timothy Dwight College on the Yale campus. Affectionately called Master T by his residents, Thompson can often be seen counseling his minions on the college grounds. He has a broad conception of what the undergraduate experience should be.
The college system was set up to sort of dissolve what a dorm is. A dorm is simply a machine for sleeping. X number of beds, X number of students, X number of Johns. I mean, boring. Whereas a college means that you're doing more than sleeping here. That you can play touch football with your peers. You can jump into a play by Shepard. You can get together with other guys or women who are interested in classical piano and stage your own concert. It's a way of tripling your cultural life. You're not just here to sleep. You're here to interact in arts and letters and sports and just about everything. I think the best training in the world is to feel that you should challenge yourself on all levels. And I also think that, at least at Yale, where they're damn certain that a person comes in with an academic qualification, that a woman or a man who's out for a varsity sport is learning at a very strategic age how to budget her time or his time. What makes Yale a special place is that you're absolutely free. It's one of the former deans, one of the richest minds we ever had, Georges May, chaired professor of French. And at one meeting when people were arguing, he said, the voluntariness of what you do is the main guarantee of your excellence. And that is, I'll never forget that, because that's one of the things that sums up Yale to me. I am totally free, for example, to teach my class in any way that I want. There are no monitors, no time clock kind of mentality.
We're at halftime. Penn leading 10-6 in a very tight ball game.
Tight, tough ball game. Yale has controlled the ball on offense when they've had it. They've gotten 2 field goals. They'd like to get a touchdown, but they have moved the ball effectively. Penn's offense stuttered and stammered a little bit. They've got to come back in the second half and really get back to the things they do well, and that's run that football with Chris Flynn at the tailback position.
They haven't had any trouble moving the ball, but so far they still only have 10 points on the board.
There's some interesting Ivy League scores. Holy Cross undefeated in play, trailing Brown 7-2 in the first period. And Cornell playing up in Hanover, no score with Dartmouth, who hasn't won a game.
Princeton ahead of Harvard. Princeton bouncing back from a couple of tough losses, and Columbia continuing to struggle.
Around the country from the Big Ten, Minnesota playing in the Big Ten against Ohio State, trailing. Southwest Conference, Baylor ahead of TCU in the second quarter. Here in the East, Pitt leads Navy 14-7. Navy trying to rebound after losing to Penn last week. Syracuse having a tough year, playing a very good Temple team here in Philadelphia and leading in the second quarter. That's a big game for Rutgers, trying to get back on the winning slate ahead of Army up in the Meadowlands, 28-0 in the third period. Boston College coming back strong the last few weeks. after a tough early start ahead of West Virginia 12-0. And out of the Yankee Conference, UNH, University of New Hampshire, leading Northeastern.
Carmen Koza is in his 22nd season as Yale's head coach. His teams have won or shared 9 Ivy titles, and he's received just about every coaching award possible. I recall with fond memories the opportunity I had in playing for him. And in fact, he was very instrumental in my decision to attend Yale. I had a chance to talk with him earlier about his career at Yale. Carm, you're in your 22nd season at Yale. How has the Ivy League changed over that period?
Well, I'll tell you, Brian, I think the league is gotten better, no doubt about it. But it's just like all football has around the country. We're still recruiting the same type of quality young men, which I'm pleased to say has stayed the same. When we play outside opponents, I think that's a big difference now because they all had spring football way back then. They didn't. And they're all in a very fine scholarship program. So sometimes we take more than our share of lumps when we go outside the league.
How have you changed in 22 years as coaching?
Well, I'm probably not coaching as much as I once did. I still enjoy it very much. Like I say, working with the type of young men that we have at Yale is a real plus for us. And I still get very excited over the games, and I cry inside when we lose. So I don't know if I've really changed that much. I guess I've gotten totally gray, and what little hair I've got is just about gone.
Any particular memories stand out over the 20 years?
Well, when you were at school, a lot of fine memories. When we led the nation consecutive wins, that was something I'll never forget. The win over Navy was a big win for us. The win over the Air Force Academy was a big win. Playing my alma mater, Miami University in Oxford, was a big, exciting game for us. But I think the championships are still the thing, the big 3 championships. And more importantly, though, are the fact that the guys go on to better things when they leave us, and the relationships that you have with your players. And it seems to go on and on and on, and that's the fun part of coaching.
Nobody has won more championships in your stay at Yale in the Ivy League. You've won it with offensive teams. You've won it with defensive teams. You've won it with a combination. What do you consider the ingredients to be a champion in the Ivy League?
Well, we do not get the number of great skilled athletes that possibly you might get in the Pac-10, places like that. So you have to really capitalize on what you have. And I've always believed that if you play tough defense, you're going to be in the game, you're going to stay there. But when we have a great athlete, you really have to utilize his talents, like a Dick Geron, like a Calvin Hill, a Brian Dowling, a Kelly Ryan, people like that. You really have to utilize their talents. And when they stay healthy, usually you're going to do all right. And I think most teams in our league try to capitalize on 2 or 3 really key people.
Even though you're in the middle of the season, any thoughts in looking ahead to what the alumni call the key games with Princeton and Harvard?
Well, we feel we're still in the race, and if we can win against Pennsylvania, that's going to be a real feather in our cap. We know it's got an uphill battle for us, but when it comes down to the last 2 games, I think all the alumni come out of the woodwork. They all come out to see us, and it is an exciting ending for us. I'm really pleased that we have this type of rivalry. We're either at home with Harvard or Princeton, and we're away with the opposite. And it's a great ending for us, and I think anything after that would sort of be anticlimactic.
How would you sum up your stay at Yale so far?
Well, it's been a great experience for me. It's been fun for my family. My family sort of raised here, you might say, in New Haven area. And I've enjoyed coaching there very much. I mean, there are times when sometimes I wondered why I gave up the directorship and stayed in coaching. But I do enjoy working with the young men. There's new excitement every year. There's new personalities. And yet there's a lot of similarities in the type of people I have the pleasure of working with. It's been a great experience, and I don't think I would change it for anything.
This is a program that's got some real tradition to it.
The Ivy League, a tradition of academics and athletics.
Those student athletes who are selected to academic All-American teams can serve as role models to younger and potential student athletes.
GTE is continuing this tradition with a major commitment to recognize America's top collegiate student athletes. The GTE Academic All-America teams, 8 sports categories with nearly 400 athletes, selected by the College Sports Information Directors of America.
I think that the COSIDA Academic All-American Award has become a more prominent goal for student athletes.
GTE congratulates the Academic All-Americans and applauds the Ivy League for its continuing emphasis on scholarship and athletics.
We're at halftime. Penn leading 10-6. I'm Brian Dowling along with Bob Cacciola. And one thing, as you said earlier, Bob, Karma's not lost any hair in 22 years, and I'm a guy who can say that.
He hasn't, but he's done a tremendous job, and he's got his club right in this ball game, as we know. And as you look at the halftime statistics, you see that they have thrown the ball effectively for 100 yards, and they've got total offense of 162 yards. Matter of fact, I'm kind of interested. They haven't run the ball that much until Bryce came in, the sophomore tailback, sort of in the second period.
Do you think Penn is emotionally spent after last week?
It could be. You never can totally measure that. Ned Zubrow is very concerned about it. No matter how hard you work at it as a coach, as a staff, it's physically and mentally impossible to be up week after week. And they knew Yale was coming in with a chance at really establishing themselves in this league this weekend against them. So they were concerned. I don't know that they're emotionally spent, but I think they've got to regather themselves to get back to the things that led to their one touchdown, and that is run the football more in the second half.
Well, and they haven't played poorly. It's just Yale has kept them off the field because the offense, Krzyzewski's really operating the game plan really well.
Exactly, and coming into this game with the shotgun offense, Yale wanted to hold the football, and they've done it throwing and passing. I mean, passing and running that football. So they've accomplished that part of it. I think it's important now when Penn gets the ball to get some points, especially early. If they don't, they'll have a dogfight.
We're going to take a look at the first touchdown. 6-yard run by Chris Flynn. A back in his first start for Penn. Great balance and great drive, forward drive.
And great blocking up front from that experienced Penn offensive line. The left side just cleared out for him. And when you give him that kind of room, look at them come off the football. The left tackle, Panzini the guard, Bunato the center, and also the tight end Novoselsky gives him a chance to get upfield. And when he gets that kind of room, you're in trouble.
Well, that's the difference so far in the first half. We had an exchange of field goals in the second quarter. But the thing about Flynn that I'm really amazed is that he doesn't really give the defenders a good shot at him. He's not that big, and he's not gonna run people over, but he doesn't give them a good target.
Because he's always on the move. He's a great athlete, and he's got balance, which you hear often used in football, but he's also got strength. And when he sees a seam, he'll turn, he'll cut, and he'll generate from a start.
Okay, we'll be back with more halftime activities here at Franklin Field after a word from the University of Pennsylvania.
The University of Pennsylvania's 4 undergraduate schools and 12 graduate and professional schools share one dynamic campus that provides interaction between scholars and students from diverse fields. Penn's special characteristic is its interdisciplinary commitment to link research, innovative programs, and the professional schools. These programs join medicine and management, law and economics, computer science and linguistics, medicine and engineering, nursing and management, and many other combinations. The 19th century researcher, Edward Muybridge, studied the motion of people and animals at the University of Pennsylvania. Today, researchers at the General Robotics and Active Sensory Perception Lab are combining medicine and engineering to develop a computer imaging system to enhance medical diagnosis. Penn students learn from each other and with each other, creating and underscoring the University of Pennsylvania, one great university.
The Ivy League football game of the week is made possible by grants from Chrysler, makers of Plymouth Voyager, where the pride is back, and by the financial professionals at Payne Weber. We're here at Franklin Field at halftime. Penn leading 10-6 over Yale. Brian Dowling with Bob Cacciola. We've got a very enthusiastic Penn following here down in Philadelphia.
That's right. It's a big weekend for them. The alumni are back. A big crowd on their part, and a great enthusiasm going along with not only the undefeated season, but the tremendous win that Penn had last week against Yale. And there were other games played, as we often know, in other sports throughout the Ivy League. In men's soccer, Yale defeated Penn 1-0, and Harvard defeated Princeton 4-0. In volleyball, Penn defeated Harvard 15-3, 15-7, 15-3. In freshman football here yesterday afternoon, the undefeated Penn freshmen defeated Delaware 35-7. In field hockey, it was Princeton 3, Harvard 0, Penn 2, Yale 0. And in women's soccer, it was Harvard 1, Princeton 0.
We talked last week a little bit about the construction going on throughout the Ivy League. We're in the middle of it in the press box at Cornell, and right here we've got the same thing. The Franklin Field being renovated, and very picturesque in its red and blue seats.
Well, this is one of the great football stadiums in this country. It's, as many people have said who have witnessed football here over the years, there's not a bad seat in the place. You can see from anywhere. You're right on top of the field. They've built a very adequate press box for the television and radio coverage because you're close to the scene, and yet you're up high enough where you can see it very good. So they've really done a job here, and they try to improve on it every year. They've made new additions, as we've seen and you mentioned, throughout the league.
Well, Yale will be kicking off to Penn to open the second half, and the thing that Carm was worried about, giving the ball to Penn. We'll see how their defense responds in this first drive.
And again, it's very important. Pennsylvania had a very impressive opening drive, taking the football on the ground and moving it, running Chris Flynn from the tailback position, and the fullback Lorano. Once in a while, a play-action pass by Krochickia. They've got to do that again. I think they've got to get on the board early here, or else the enthusiasm and the confidence of the Yale football squad will grow. I'm sure that Coach Koza has told his club that we've got to hold them here in that first drive, get the ball back, and we're going to be in this thing right to the end.
As you can see, as Bob mentioned earlier, Penn being very effective in Ivy League games the last 4 or 5 years here at Franklin Field. Not losing since 1981 in Ivy League play. Well, as we've seen so much the last few weeks, key plays have really sparked a team to get ahead and stay ahead, and we're going to look for those key plays in the second half. Duryea to kick it off for Yale. A low kick. Taken at the 14, out to 25, breaks the tackle, 40-yard line, and run out of bounds at midfield. Number 43, Mike Waller, putting Penn in great field position.
This is Jim Bruni, the other tailback. There's 3 tailbacks in this offense, and this is Bruni, the junior, just waiting for his blocks to develop and then vaulting the line of scrimmage, and boy, that's impressive. Get the ball back over the 50-yard line into Yale territory to start this second half.
So Penn will put it in play in Yale's territory at the 49-yard line. Jim Krochickia, the quarterback. Yale bunching up the line of scrimmage. Krochickia going to play action, going deep. And caught inside the 10-yard line. Ken Saunders. A beautiful pass and catch. Krochickia to Ken Saunders.
And Krochickia was hit as he released that football, but he caught Sanders in the middle. Really, the coverage was there. Saunders just took it away from the defender. You see the play action, 1st and 10. After a big return, good call, puts the ball in the middle on Saunders. He's being covered on the corner there by number 45, Mike Flannery, the cornerback, and he just went up for it more aggressively and caught it. Big play by Penn to get the ball deep, deep in Yale territory.
We talked about the key plays. That's obviously one of them. The pitch to Camizio, cuts it back inside the 5 and down to about the 4.
Interesting, the psychology here. They get a great kickoff return by Bruni. The first play, they throw play-action pass, get deep in their territory. They're inside the 10-yard line. Who comes in at tailback? Camizio, just trying to keep the enthusiasm. Now he's coming out of the game. Camizio, again, we mentioned, has a leg injury. He's had a hamstring problem and a knee problem. They wanted to use him sparingly today or not use him at all if they could get away without doing that.
So Penn looks at a 2nd down and 4. And pitch to Flynn. He's in for a touchdown.
once again running to the left side as he scored earlier. Running behind the left side of the line of scrimmage. That's Bonato at center. The left guard is Wilkins and Ernst the left tackle. And there he is. He cuts back. And when your linemen score, you got a good shot at getting in that end zone, and he's in there.
Grass with the extra point. Penalty marker down. The kick is good. And the penalty will be marked off on the kickoff. So Penn scores quickly in the third quarter, extending their lead 17-6 over Yale. We talked about the key plays, as you saw in the replay when Saunders caught the pass. The defensive back can't wait for the ball to come down. He's got to get in there. Saunders shielding the ball from the defender, coming up with a big play.
And the big play comes with success and the fact that you've been there before. And this Penn team has that, perhaps over everybody else in this league. And when they win, when you win the kind of games they have and have the kind of championships, you can pull off these plays. And here's the touchdown. Look at the left side of the line. And the pulling guard there was Chris Wilkins, who pulled and blocked out on the defensive end for Yale, kicked out and gave Flynn a chance to get up inside. And once he gets a seam, as we mentioned before, he's going to score on you.
And an outstanding lead block by fullback Tom Clark. So penalty will be marked off on the kickoff against Yale. Jim Grass will kick it away for Penn at the 50-yard line. Deep for Yale, Kevin Bryce and Buddy Zachary. Penalty running into the kicker on the extra point. Seems to be some confusion on the referee's part where to spot the ball. Guess it's a 5-yard penalty if it's running into it. Running into the kicker either on a punt or a field goal extra point. So they will kick it away from their own 40.
Okay, it's important now for Yale to get back right away. They can't afford to let Penn get too far ahead of them. They've got to get themselves into a situation where they can get upfield and hopefully move the ball as they did in the first half with their offense, with the shotgun offense, and get some points and stay close. I'm sure that the last thing that Carm Koza wanted to happen to him was to get a quick score, and such a decisive score as Penn has taken here early in the third period. Jim Krochicki, 7 of 9 for 134 yards so far.
Grass, a low knuckleball. Kicked around, finally picked up by Zachary. Out to the 15. And he gets out to the 18-yard line and smacked down. Yale will put it in play its own 18-yard line, trailing 17-6. Barely into the third quarter. Chris Flynn on the day, 14 carries, 60 yards, and 2 touchdowns. The big 2 touchdowns. So far, the difference in this afternoon's game. Ryan beginning the second half at quarterback, under center. Slot formation, White and Schulte, the wide receivers. White in motion. Quick handoff to Jenkins, up the middle. Make that Mercine, and he gets about 1 yard. Art Sebastianelli on the stop for Penn.
Penn was ready for that. The few times they've come up in the I formation on the early downs, they tried to slip the ball to the fullback time. That time Mercine never could get going as Sebastianelli came down from the defensive tackle position and a flood of other tacklers with him. Lots of pursuit. With an early score like that by the Penn offense, you can bet this Penn defense is ready to play.
Second down and 9 from their own 20-yard line. Ryan this time out of the shotgun. Truxell in motion. Pressured out. He's looking for Schullen. He's got him complete at the 42-yard line.
Big play by Kelly Ryan. A little pressure on him. He waited. He stepped up into the pocket from the shotgun, delivered the football to Schulte, the wide receiver coming across the middle. It was a perfect pass.
So Yale has a first down at their own 41-yard line.
There is Tom Mercine, the senior fullback at 6'1", 210. His dad, a great player at Yale in the pros, Chuck Mercine.
Turn that thing!
his time to McCauley, and he picks up about 1. Talking with Carm a little bit about Tom Racine, the senior this year, and there it is. When you get both the father and the son, you know you've been around a long time. He had Chuck as offensive backfield coach in 1964 for Yale. The following year, he took over the head coaching job. Yale now facing 2nd down and 8 from their own 44. 3 wide receivers. Everybody out. Pressure. He's going for Suba, but it's incomplete at the 42-yard line.
Lots of pressure that time from Sebastianelli, the defensive tackle. The senior put pressure that time, forced Kelly Ryan to move up, a little bit off balance. He had to deliver the ball. It was a little bit short. Again, the coverage is tight. The linebackers are starting to jump on those wide receivers as they try to cross in the middle. So Kelly Ryan needs time, and he's got to be right on the money with his passes.
And as close as the coverage is, even the crossing patterns, the receiver almost has to come back to the quarterback, sprinting away from the defender to give him a chance to complete it. 3rd down and 8 at the 44. Penalty marker down. He's going for Schulte, and incomplete. Seemed to be a mix-up.
Trying to pick a Schulte coming across from a twins formation. 2 receivers to the same side.
Schulte and White flanked out wide to the right, almost in a tandem.
Offense declines. 4th down.
In a tandem situation, there was some confusion as where each one was supposed to line up, and that's what happened.
That first series that Yale has had the ball on offense, you see a different Penn approach. They are really trying to put more pressure on the quarterback and flush him out of there and make him throw the ball sooner from that shotgun. I think they were much more effective in that series.
Don Mulkey on the punt for Eli's, gets it away. Flynn at his own 26, and met there immediately by number 38, Ted Worthman. Flynn's okay, but Worthman got the better of that deal. He knocked him back so hard it out of the picture.
But he got up. Unbelievable resiliency in Chris Flynn. He takes those chances because one of these times he's going to catch it and give you a dodge and a fake here, and he's going to be gone. And he does it. There's an interesting score. Brown hanging tough with Holy Cross. Colgate ahead of Columbia.
Give the Clar and stays on his feet out to the 32-yard line, but a penalty marker down.
Tom Clar at fullback is a senior from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's an excellent blocker, and he's in there for Joe Lorano, the junior, who hurt his knee earlier in this game, and we haven't seen Lorano back in the ballgame. Lorano has been a very effective player thus far for the Penn Quakers. Clar, 34 at fullback.
Referee indicating holding on Penn, so that will push them back to their own 16-yard line.
Also notice that John Quinn, the senior linebacker, is in the ball game for Yale.
1st down.
Cornell finally going out ahead of Dartmouth, but in a ball game there. Princeton still leading Harvard. It will be at Palmer Stadium next Saturday afternoon. Yale's defensive line shifting, long count by Krochickia. Flynn on the reverse to the screen, and he's got it. He's got it out to 25, stays on his feet, he's got a block. He's out to the 30, and he's finally run out of bounds at the 42-yard line by number 42, Derek Kay, and 48, Buddy Zachary.
That was a great well-executed screen. It was a sprint out to the right, and he screened back to the left, and you'll see it here. He sprints to the right, 27. Flynn comes over to the left side. He screens back to him, and there's only one defender there. 3 blockers in front of him, and there's the ability of Chris Flynn, the cutting ability. He switches balls right here, gets himself in a good position to straight arm 42 as he comes by Derek Kay.
Penn with a 1st down at the 42. Camizio on the pitch. Picks up about 3 out to the 46. Penn showing a good variety of play calling, keeping the Yale defense off balance, but even with how well that screen was set up, Flynn made the play by blocking some tackles, breaking some tackles. And there's one of the Mohawk.
Did you have one of those, Brian?
No.
In vogue when you were
I kept it the Princeton style.
Yale calls a timeout here. Yale, as we know, coming into this game, Karmkoza was concerned about some key injuries to his ball club. He lost an outstanding defensive end in Yves Labissiere, who is a big defensive end with lots of quickness and speed. He's out today. John Quinn, their second leading tackler, their big inside linebacker, has been nicked up. We see him in the ball game right now. But they're in this ball game. The Yale defense does not want to be on the field too long. One, because they've got injuries, and also because they're working against a very seasoned and good-sized offensive line of Pennsylvania. So they've got to get that ball back. They don't want to sit out there too long against Penn's offense.
Next week, the same Penn team will visit Palmer Stadium in Princeton, New Jersey. Princeton on the comeback after the last couple of weeks, ahead of Harvard, 14-3. The thing you mentioned about the defense, too, is that with the contact that the offensive line, Penn is knocking them back, these guys are getting tired, so the Penn backs are breaking a lot of tackles.
In the ball game now, they come with another tailback, number 42. That's Jim Bruni, the junior from Audubon, Pennsylvania. He was the guy who caught the pass, Jim Bruni, 26-yard pass from Jim Krochickia to win the Navy game. That was the last of 4 touchdown passes that Krochickia threw last week.
2nd down and 6 at their own 46. Novoselsky in motion. Krochickia straight back. Gets some pressure. Got a lot of time, and he's smacked down. Finally sacked by number 96. Andy Dudley, and a penalty marker is down.
He had a lot of time, and he waited. He wanted people to come open. He looked initially at his tight end, Novoselsky. He was covered well by the linebacker to that side, Mike Ryan. Then he looked across the field, and by that time, Andy Dudley got to him. Unfortunately for Yale, there's a personal foul involved, so the loss goes for naught.
Krochickia stays in the pocket, altering his drop back to backpedaling, and Dudley with the sack. We didn't see the personal foul, giving Penn out of a tough
personal foul. Defense, first down.
They don't designate the numbers, so we don't know who did it, but it puts Penn in good field position at the Yale 39-yard line, 1st and 10. Novoselsky again in motion. They give this time to Flynn. Off tackle. Inside the 35 and down to the 33 before he's brought down by number 16, John Quinn.
What an excellent job of blocking on the left side again. Chris Wilkins, the left guard, and the left tackle Ernst, along with the tight end, Novoselsky, gets the block. And now Tom Clark, the fullback, starts to add to that, and that's why number 27, Flynn, is picking up the kind of yardage. When you can pick up 6 yards on a first down running play, you're well ahead of schedule.
Makes the play calling a lot easier. 2nd down and 4. Krochickia on the draw to Commissione. He's tripped up by number 66, Brett Schulte, from his middle guard position. Commissione just not showing the burst that he's had in prior weeks.
And I'm very surprised that they're even using him, quite frankly. They're ahead 17-6. The fact that they've even got him in the ball game. Again, now they substitute and they bring back in Jim Bruni at tailback. So they're alternating. They've got the depth, more depth perhaps than any other team in the Ivy League, particularly at the skill positions.
Saunders and Andrews, the wide receiver. Novoselsky flexed at his tight end position. Bruni in the slot.
Yale's got their experience in there. They've got John Quinn, who's been injured with a knee this season, in at the inside linebacker position. They need his size at 6'3", 230, and they need his experience.
Again with 2 tight ends. Krochickia on the long count. Counter to Flynn, and he's got some room. He's inside the 10 and down to the 6. Before Buddy Zachary makes the stop.
What a great job here by the Penn offensive line. This time to the right side, and a great block by Scott Ernst, number 77, the left tackle. He pulls through the line of scrimmage. You're going to see him get a block and put John Quinn, the inside linebacker, on the ground. There it is. And that enables Flynn to make the cut for big yardage, picking up 8 yards on the first down running play inside the 15-yard line.
2nd down and 2 at the Yale 6. Pennsylvania. Oh, mix up. Krochickia's got it. but not before Yale smacks him down at the 14-yard line.
There was a mix-up because they brought Bruni in at tailback. They were trying to run the same play, the counter play to the left side. They were mixed up. They were on the wrong side of each other. They're fortunate they didn't have a fumble. They took a big loss. Now they're 3rd and 9 with the ball back on the Yale 14-yard line.
It's a big play for Yale, as if they're able to hold no field goal, they're still in the game.
They substitute now back in the game at tailback Chris Flynn, in at the wide receiver Tom Joyce, the junior who's become an outstanding receiver in the last couple of games for Penn.
3rd down and 9. The Yale 14-yard line. Novoselsky in motion. He's got a lot of time. Still got a lot of time. He's finally being pressured. He's got Flynn in the flat. Breaks a tackle. He's down inside the 5, and he's got it very close to a 1st down. Krochicki could have set up a picnic lunch on that play.
And then he gets the ball out, and of course Flynn finds him. Flynn gets open for him. Here you see it. You can start to count how much time he's got. Great job by the offensive line. Now he's waiting, and finally Flynn comes across from the left side. He's wide open here, and now you get him the football 1-on-1 with a defensive back. The defensive back's in trouble. Look at that move. But he knows where he is on that football field, and he got the 1st down. He found the sticks.
1st down and goal from the 5. Clark up the middle, and he gets about 1 down to the 4. We talked about the key plays aside in this game. We've got 3 key plays so far the second half. The big catch by Saunders, the sack by Yale that was negated by the personal foul, and that scramble by Krochicki, and 1st down catch by Chris Flynn. 2nd down and goal at the 4. 4:20 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Penalty marker down. Yale offside. Penn with a free play, and Bruni in with a touchdown. So Penn will decline as Bruni scores Penn's 3rd touchdown of the afternoon, putting Penn up 23-6.
From ground level, great block by 34. Tom Clark on the linebacker, Mike Ryan, puts him on the ground. He's down. Bruni, the junior tailback, number 42, goes in for the score.
Jim Grass would attempt the extra point. Kick is up and good. So Penn now leads 24-6. The big thing that the defense cannot do when somebody goes offsides, the tendency is to relax, and they can't relax.
And here's the touchdown from behind the offense. You see the toss sweep. Watch number 34's block on the linebacker. Puts him right on the ground. Bruni's in the end zone.
So with 4:10 left to go in the 3rd quarter, Pennsylvania 24 and Yale 6.
Now you're going to see Yale from the shotgun, throwing the ball more than ever. They've got to get back in the ball game. The only way they're going to do it is throwing the football. A lot of pressure on Kelly Ryan. He's got to deliver, but they have come back against teams like Colgate, last week against Columbia, in the second half with off the throwing arm of Kelly Ryan.
It's a big game for Penn, coming off the emotional win over Navy and back into the Ivy League. Yale coming into the game with only 1 Ivy loss, still in the hunt, but this will put Penn in the driver's seat, or keep them in the driver's seat.
And that's what hangs now around this great old stadium here at Franklin Field, the 82, the 83, 84, and the next one, of course, the 85 championship, and thus far undefeated in Ivy League and in season play. Pennsylvania going for their 6th straight win. That scoring drive took 7.5 minutes, 12 plays, 74 yards.
Kicked by Grass, fielded by Zachary at the 10. He's out to the 20. Cuts back over to the 30, of the 35, and he's down to the 39-yard line. The type of run back Yale needed. So Kelly Ryan will bring his troops out, putting the ball in play, 1st and 10 at the own 39.
Here's Zachary, Buddy Zachary, the sophomore, picking that ball up, getting up behind the wedge. Makes a good cut there, gets the ball out in great field position. And this is something that Yale has done consistently all year. Terrific specialty teams. Good punt return, kickoff return. Very aggressive at blocking punts. They've worked hard at it. It's paid off for them.
It's the second consecutive kick by Grass on the ground, so I'm wondering if he's trying to do that on purpose. Backfires a little bit as Zachary brings it out to the 39-yard line. Kelly Ryan with the handoff to Kevin Bryce. And he gets barely to the 41-yard line. Brad Hines with Brad Hippensteel on the stop for Penn. Second down and 7.
Pennsylvania going with their experience. They still have Sebastianelli, Mike Lista back at the defensive end positions, Mike Graves at the nose guard position, and of course their inside linebackers Inskeep and McConnell, Jeff Fortner, the senior, and Hippensteel at the outside linebacker positions.
Jim Griffin, number 81, in at tight end for Dean Athanasia. Ryan out of the shotgun. Fake to Bryce. And the throwback to Bryce. He's got one man to beat. He gets by, and he's dragged down by at the 48. Tom Flynn was the one man to beat. He hung on.
Good running by Bryce and good job by Tom Flynn, who's played it very tough. We see an isolation here on Lista, number 94, the junior tackle who's been so active. 2 men they need to block him. He's very aggressive at 6'3", 245, an excellent pass rusher. And we mentioned earlier, his brother, Bill, was the captain of the 1983 Penn football team.
Third down and 1 at the Yale 48. The pitch to Bryce. He cuts it back, and he gets to the 50, and he's got a first down for Yale. Bob, we're seeing a lot of similarity in the play calling between the teams. The counters and the throwbacks on the screens. It looks like they've got the same playbook.
And also featuring the tailback. For years, the Yale offense has centered around the tailback. They've had some great ones. And it looks to me like in Kevin Bryce, the sophomore out of Chicago, Illinois, they got another one. He's got great balance, lots of leg drive and strength, and very quick. First down, the ball sitting right on the 50-yard line. Very important here. We can't stress it enough for Yale to get a score on this drive.
Kevin Bryce, 57 yards and 8 carries. Ryan under center. Play action. Pressure, and he's sacked. Back at the 42-yard line. Brad Hines showing the same type of thing we saw last week in Cornell, the cornerback blitz on play action.
Exactly. They took the chance. They came in and out in the I formation and hide from the backside here. The right side, you see number 46, Brad Hines, the rover back, blitzing from his secondary position. He gets in clean. Nobody picks him up. Big loss. 7 yards. Second down and 17 for Kelly Ryan.
Troy Jenkins and Kevin Bryce, the backs, alongside Kelly Ryan. The draw to Bryce to the 45 and back to midfield. So he picks up the lost yardage, bringing up a third down and 10. He's got that good acceleration.
Very interesting calls. They've come out here after being scored on and trailing 24-6. And they've run the ball more than we've expected. We figured they'd go back and throw the ball on every down. It's 3rd and 10 now. He's got to put it up. He's got to get a first down. He's got to keep the possession and get a score here. Can't afford to get too far behind. They're trailing 24-6, and Penn is starting to dominate the line of scrimmage.
David White in motion. Fake again to Bryce. Rolls left. And incomplete. At the 38-yard line, the intended receiver, David White.
This is a little fake sprint, a fake handoff and sprint to the right side, and there is David Smith. He is a sophomore. They consider him to be an excellent prospect. He comes in and plays the rover back position with Brad Hines. David Smith, perfect coverage that time on David White, and he never had a chance to catch it.
One of the problems with rolling out, throwing out patterns is if you don't hit him on the break, the defenders, once the receivers made the first break, the defenders just chasing him and can cover him. You've got to hit him on the break, which is very tough on the quarterback, particularly rolling to his left, to throw that on time. Don Mulkey will kick it away for Yale. 35-yard average for this afternoon. Gets a high kick. Flynn at his own 15. And again, number 38, Ted Wertman.
They're getting to know each other, those two guys.
He's going to have to peel off that 38 from his 27.
I got to believe that Chris Flynn has one of those light
black jackets
on, because
right.
the way he handles these punts, he's ready to take anything on. But a great hit and great coverage that time.
There's an extra high punt, so usually tendency would be to signal for a fair catch, but he doesn't like to do it. So Krotrickia will put Penn on offense at his own 16-yard line, leading 24-6 with 1 minute left to go in the third quarter, and they give to Flynn the cutback. He stays on his feet out to the 20-yard line.
He really doesn't give you much to hit, Brian. When you look at him run as he looks to cut back, you figure he's going to get some tough hits, but he's very low to the ground. You get a lot of shoulder pads when you go after him. Amazing balance. Penn dominating this league again, really in charge of this football game. And then you look back at the records. They've had undefeated freshman teams. Their freshmen are undefeated again. They completely dominated Delaware yesterday in a big win. So this program is really at the highest level.
And it hasn't fallen off with a new coach. They give the up the middle, Elixic, a new fullback for Penn.
Here comes the depth now. Steve Elixic is a senior at 6'1", 230, number 36. They usually bring him in situations on the goal line because he's so big and so strong. They like to use him as a blocker. But now with the score 24-6 and the injury to Joe Lorano at fullback, we're starting to see more of the senior Elixic.
We'll be back at Franklin Field in just a moment. The Ivy League football game of the week is made possible by grants from the financial professionals at Payne Weber and by Chrysler, makers of Plymouth Voyager, where the pride is back. We begin the fourth quarter. Penn comfortably ahead of Yale, 24-6, and a homecoming afternoon for the Quakers. Oh, we got some strong voices by the partisan crowd here at Franklin Field. I think augmented by this big old stadium at Franklin Field. Penn looking at a third down and 2 at their own 24-yard line.
Penn has really maintained the football. In the third period, they had 2 scoring drives, one of 49 yards, one of 74 yards. Took over 9 minutes to complete. They've really came out in the second half and dominated play.
There's the Yale Bulldog, Handsome Dan, number, I think, about 13. Not sure on the number, but you can't mistake that puss.
It looks like they're feeding him pretty well, too. As we go into the fourth period, Chris Flynn has carried the ball 18 times today for 81 yards. He's gone over 1,000 yards for his career. It's been a great afternoon for Chris, starting his first game at tailback for the injured Rich Comizio.
We're down in 2. Andrews in motion. Krotrickia on the roll. Looking for Joyce. He's got him. He's got the foot in bounds and a first down at the 36-yard line. Defended by number 36, Jose Agarbidi.
Flood the zone here. They get 2 receivers in the area. Andrews in the short area. Number 20, Joyce, in the deeper, more intermediate area. And he occupies that cornerback with Andrews and just throws over his head. Puts it in there for the first down. Lots of balance, a lot of variety in the Penn offense. And, of course, experienced people carrying it out, particularly the quarterback, Jim Krotrickia.
Rooney, 40, 42, and very close to a first down. Penalty marker down. Buddy Zachary trips him up. Very close to a first down.
And you're starting to see the defense getting worn down. That time was just a slant-off tackle with the tailback carrying. The penalty's probably going to go against Pennsylvania. But they just got into the defensive secondary, blocking on the line of scrimmage. Good yardage. They just had the ball too often, too long in this second half.
Holding on Penn will knock them back 10 yards, bringing up a first down and 20. So a break for the Elis.
Eli's have to create
Holding,
something.
offense, repeat first down.
Yale has to get a turnover. They got to get the ball deep in their Penn territory. They've got to make something happen here on defense. They haven't been able to do it so far in the second half.
Krochicki in one of the few obvious passing down and distance situations. First down and 20 at his own 26. The draw, Flynn, the 30, 35, and out to the 40-yard line. Picks up 13. So he gets all of it back and some more. As some old graduates are enjoying the Penn success this afternoon.
Penn continues to substitute at the tailback position. It's now Chris Flynn, Jim Bruni, the two juniors alternating. The fullback remains Steve Olekseck.
Krochicki pressured, gets the ball deep and intended for Heisey, but overthrown at the 25. Dave Sullivan on the coverage for Yale.
Mike Heisey, a senior too, in the game from Woodbridge, Illinois. Senior, 185 pounds. That time Krochicki just trying to beat him deep. Has not really tried to go deep often today. Tried to get Heisey on the corner. Good coverage by Sullivan, the free safety.
Third down and 6. At his own 40, Krochicki under center. Novoselsky, tight end in motion. The draw to Flynn. He's got a first down. Got midfield. And finally knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Buddy Zachary.
And really where it's showing is the lack of experience at linebacker position. The injury to John Quinn for Yale has hurt him. And watch here as number 40 gets blocked. As you see the draw play happen, both linebackers are on the ground and gives 27 Flynn a chance to get upfield, get the first down, and break it on the corner. But Yale is hurting inside with injuries, and that inexperience has really hurt him today, particularly against the quality of Chris Flynn.
Heisey in motion. The draw again to Bruni, and tripped up right at the line of scrimmage. Number 82, Chuck Bray, knocked him down even while being blocked.
Good job by Chuck Bray. He's only a sophomore from Monroeville, Pennsylvania at 6'4", 220. Very active, very aggressive. Made a big play that time on Bruni. But the clock starts to wind down here in the fourth period. Penn keeping the ball on the ground, making first downs, keeping that Yale defense on the field.
Second down and 9 at the Yale 42. Novoselsky again in motion. Quick play action, looking for Novoselsky, and instead he goes to his wideout, but underthrown.
They hurt Yale with that pass earlier when Novoselsky comes in motion and breaks right over the middle. And the linebackers, he said, it gets behind the linebackers, but that time the free safety Dave Sullivan picked up on him and forced Krochicki to look for the alternate pass, which wasn't there. And Chris Flynn has 112 yards and 20 rushes with 2 TDs.
Shows the potency of the Penn rushing game, even without Rich Comizio at 100%. Krochicki on the flare to Flynn. He's got it. Dodges one. He's inside the 40 and down to the 38-yard line. Don Lund on the stop, brother of Captain Ken Lund for Yale. But not before he picks up another 4 or 5 yards.
Lund is the sophomore who's in for John Quinn. It's tough to put a sophomore at this stage in his career in against such an experienced football team. But the Yale defense has hung in there, and now they're forcing a punt with a 4th and 5 on their own 38-yard line.
Dave Fosnot will kick it away for Penn. Gets it away, a high kick. Cauley letting it go. And into the end zone, but a penalty marker is down.
They're going to call roughing the kicker, and that is a poor call. He was blocked into the kicker, and the referee blew it. And that's the referee, Albert Hines.
Take another look. Wait. He said it was blocked into it. What does he mean?
You'll see it. He's been blocked here, and as he comes off the block, he hits the kicker. There's no way he can control that, and that is a poor call.
He even said on his microphone he was blocked into the kicker.
Okay,
so he doesn't know the
Penn's
rules.
got the football. They continue on. It's a tough play, but that's the way he saw it.
Colgate extending their lead over Columbia. Columbia is still winless this season. Cornell extending their lead over Dartmouth to 10-0.
Tough defense. We saw them last week, and they're very impressive on defense.
4th down and 2. The give to Flynn. He's got a first down, and he's got more. 20 to 15, and down to the 7-yard line. Another Penn first down.
Well, I want to tell you, when you get Chris Flynn one-on-one against the secondary's in trouble. He's got tremendous. He can generate great speed, and he also has a great cutback ability.
We got a penalty marker down and indicated backfield in motion on Penn, so they'll bring this outstanding run back. Flynn giving a real lesson in tackling to the Yale inexperienced defensive backs.
Illegal motion on the offense. 4th down.
Is that what's called a make-up call? I didn't see any motion. But anyway, Penn, 4th down and 6. Will decide whether to go for it or punt, and they're going to punt it away. Ed Zubrow sending his punt team in at the last possible moment, trying to catch Yale unaware.
Trying to cut down on Yale substitution. That's what he does. And
Fosnot again the punt. McCauley deep. Will let it go, and it goes into the end zone. So Yale will put it in play at their own 20, trailing 24-6 with 11.5 minutes left to go in the game.
Pennsylvania controlling the football game the whole second half. They came out, got a quick score, and they have really been in control along the way. Now we look at Yale. Kelly Ryan at quarterback. He's going to have to put the ball up. We've talked about that. He's got to get upfield quickly. He's got to get a score, try and get back in this game and make it interesting.
At his own 20, the give to Bryce. He's out to the 25 and down to the 26. 65, Dexter Desir on the stop for Penn.
Bryce in the football game at tailback, the sophomore, quick, gives him a chance to run inside, gives him a chance to break the line of scrimmage, but still, surprisingly, trailing 24-6. They have not thrown the ball that much in the second half.
2nd down and 4 at the 26-yard line. Penn with a 4-man defensive front. To give this time to the fullback, Mercine, and he gets about 2. A fumble.
Penn players signaling that they came up with the fumble. But the officials give it to Yale. They must have held on to it, so they continue to hold the football. But again, they're running the football.
Number 75, Chris Martin on the recovery for Yale. 3rd down and 3 at the own 27. Yale needing a big play to get back in this football game.
They need a big play right now at 3rd and 2. Got to go.
That one was on us. That one was on us. We beat ourselves, that's right.
He wasn't too happy with that last series as he talked to his offense. He says, we beat us.
Pitch to Bryce, the cutback. He's got a first down, and he breaks more out to the 45-yard line. And a penalty marker down.
Late hit. Getting back to Ed Zubrow, he was upset with his offense that they did not continue that drive, and they made enough mistakes. He said, that was on us. We'll count that one. Get yourselves together and get back in that ball game. But before they can get back in the ball game, Yale's putting some first downs together.
Bryce on the cutback, showing good strength at 200 pounds. And here's the late hit right at the end of that play, giving Yale another 15 yards.
First down.
The right side of the Yale offensive line, Chris Martin at tackle, and the sophomore Jeff Rudolph opened up a big hole for Bryce. Gave him a good chance to run up and get the kind of yardage he needed.
Bryce now 11 carries, 88 yards for the afternoon. Ryan looking deep for Schulte, and incomplete, double covered there. Fangmeyer And Tom Flynn
threw that ball a little short. He should have let him a little bit more because he gave Fangmeyer, the free safety, a chance to come and make a play from the center field position. That time, though, he was looking for Schulte deep. We see it, and there's Fangmeyer up in the middle, a little bit short with the pass by Kelly Ryan.
Penalty marker down, illegal man downfield for Yale, so that will give Penn a decision to make here on first down. Ryan, so far this afternoon, 12 out of 27 for 119 yards. On the other side of the ball, Krochicki 12 out of 16 for 200.
Ineligible downfield. Offense declined. Second down.
That happened. He had Bryce on the flare pass, and out ahead of him was a lineman, and he got downfield by the time the ball was released. So Penn will decline. Yale second down and 10 at the Penn 40-yard line. Ryan's, when he throws deep, he's got to let it go early. Quick drop to White, and he wasn't ready for it.
And he was open. He was open, took a three-step drop and tried to hit him on a quick slant. They were playing in zone coverage off the ball, and White was not ready to the football. You blame that on the receiver.
Third down and 10. And Yale needs a first down. Ten minutes left to go in the game. Tom Zuba comes in for Rick Schulte at split end. Lined up in a shotgun with a trips formation to the wide side of the field. Ryan on the roll left, pressure. He's blitzed, he gets away. An incomplete intended for David White at the 35-yard line.
David White coming across the middle was open, but he was hit immediately by P.J. Franklin, the senior. There he is, number 48. P.J. Franklin came across and made a hit just as the ball arrived. He couldn't hold on to it. Big play by the defense. The Penn defense, very aggressive, starting to get pressure a little bit more on Kelly Ryan in the second half. He just doesn't have as much time as he had in the first half to throw the football.
And it almost seems automatic when they line up in shotgun, particularly with trips, that it's automatic blitz is called. Bryce in motion. Again, Ryan on the roll to the left. Lets it go. And incomplete to White. Slightly underthrown.
And again, the coverage, the sophomore back in the game. Dave Smith, number 38. Excellent coverage on White. Step for step with him. He never had a chance. Very impressed in the second half by the tight coverage. There he is. Look at the position he has on him. The ball was underthrown, but he had to do it because of the coverage that Smith had on him. Very aggressive Penn football team. Extremely aggressive in the secondary. They really climb all over those receivers. They play them tough, and they play them tight, and they're really good pass defenders.
And there's nothing like confidence and experience to enhance your ability, particularly in that aggressive defensive secondary.
Penn gets the ball back with 9:48 here in the fourth period.
First and 10 at their own 40. Andrews in motion. To give to Flynn. Dips in outside. 45, 50. And very close to a first down at midfield. John Quinn on the stop.
John Quinn, the senior, back in the ball game. Playing hurt today. Making the hit as Chris Flynn, using his cutting and darting ability, gets another first down.
So the ball just inside of Yale territory.
Chris Flynn,
first and 10.
124 yards, 21 rushes.
The pitch to Bruni. Off tackle and gets about 7 down to the 43 for John Quinn and David Sullivan on the stop.
Excellent job again. We've called out the names of the offensive line for Penn. They've really done a job up front. Steve Bonato, the center. The right guard, Jim Panzini, and Marty Peterson that time at right tackle.
Ed Zubro now sending in multiple substitutions. Scott Scunzio at tight end. Tom Joyce at wide receiver. Second down and 3. The pitch to Flynn. And one of the few times he stopped at the line of scrimmage. Number 82, Chuck Bray. Got that quick acceleration to the hole.
And they keep substituting the tailbacks. Here's Flynn's totals today. Very impressive afternoon for this junior. He's substituted for here Jim Bruni. Number 42 comes in at tailback.
3rd down and 3 at the Yale 43-yard line. Pennsylvania going with 2 tight ends. And penalty marker is down. Illegal procedure on Penn, so that'll push him back to 3rd down and 8.
We're going to call it on number 66, Jeff Sheftick, the senior
Dead ball
offensive
foul.
guard.
Ball start, offense.
So that will push him back to 3rd down and 8. Changing the call a little bit for Krochikia.
3rd down conversions. Penn today has had 11 situations. They've come through 7 times.
Skunjo in motion. Krochikia in the pocket. Looking for Skunjo and short hops it at the 38. Incomplete. So that will bring up a 4th down punting situation for Penn.
The Yale defense is hanging in there tough. Lots of substitutions, new people on the defense, and they played it tough that time. And now on a 4th and 8, they're going to force Penn to kick again. The big difference in the second half has been Penn's ability to score early and also Yale's inability on offense to generate any type of attack.
Fosnup to kick away, pressured, and gets it away. McCauley at his own 16 and is immediately dropped. Good coverage by the Penn punt team. We'd like to thank Mr. Sheldon Hackney, President of the University of Pennsylvania, Paul Rubenkin, the Director of Athletics, and Herb Hartnett, Sports Information Director, for all their efforts in making this broadcast possible. And we also like to thank Mr. Benno Schmidt, new President of Yale, Frank Ryan, the Athletic Director, and Mark Curran, the Sports Information Director, for their help also. So Yale will put it in play at their own 16-yard line. Ted McCauley is down after that catch, being attended to by the Yale trainers.
We've seen a great effort today by Chris Flynn, the junior tailback for Penn, but I'm sure that Ed Zuberow is pleased to be able to get through this game without having to use Rich Comizio and save him for the rest of the way. Comizio, as we know, is an All-America candidate here at Penn. He has been nominated this week for Academic All-American. He has a 3.2 average in the Wharton School, and they're very proud of that fact. Aside from all his other football accomplishments, he's done a tremendous job in the classroom.
So Ted McCauley walks off the field under his own power. Kelly Ryan, with a good first quarter, 6 out of 8, has only completed 2 of his last 15 attempts, and I think a lot of that is throwing the ball late and with tight Penn coverage.
And tougher pressure. They've really come after him with their up-front people and occasionally with their outside linebackers.
Straight drop. Looking deep for Schulte. And he's got it, but out of bounds. Donald Wilson on the coverage for Penn.
And that was excellent coverage by Wilson. Wilson, the senior cornerback, had him in good inside position. The ball had to be put on the outside shoulder. When he finally did catch the ball, he was out of bounds.
Bring up a 2nd down and 10 at their own 16. Ryan's now 12 out of 32 for 119 yards. So he's had 100 yards at the end of the first quarter. Penn has put the clamps on him. This time out of the shotgun.
And put the clamps on him better than anybody else this year. Since he's come back off his knee injury in the first game, he has really affected
Reverse
everybody.
to Bryce and smelled out and stopped for a 3-yard loss. Pretty much the whole defensive line led there by Sebastianelli and Dexter Desir. 3rd down and long.
There's 59. A.J. Sebastianelli. His dad played center at the University of Pennsylvania. He's a senior at 6'2", 242. Came into his own last year with injuries to players ahead of him. He got a chance to start as the season progressed, and he's just carried it on here to his senior year. A.J. Sebastianelli.
Yale 6 out of 14 on third down conversions. Looking at a difficult third down and long. Again, the roll to the left. Looking for Athanasia, and he's got him at the 27-yard line, very close to a first down.
That was a nice pass. Good job by Kelly Ryan going to his left, and a fine catch by Dean Athanasia, number 86, the leader in pass receptions for Yale. We have in this ball game 2 of the finest tight ends, probably the 2 best tight ends in the Ivy League, and that in Dean Athanasia, a junior for Yale, and of course on the other side of the football, Brent Novoselsky, the junior tight end for Penn.
So Yale converts, giving them a first down at their own 27-yard line. Ryan from the shotgun formation.
Let's go, Blue. Let's go, D-Dub.
Price in motion. This time a slight roll to the right and a quick throw to Athanasia, and is off his fingertips at midfield. Jeff Fortin on the coverage. A good throw by Ryan, a quick throw. Almost catching Athanasia a little bit unaware.
Coming into this game, Athanasia was the leading receiver. He's been relatively quiet today, just a few receptions. But look at the job by number 30 here, running with him step for step. That's Jeff Fortner, an outside linebacker. It had to be a perfect pass.
Second down and 10. That's the type of play to keep the pressure off his back. Get rid of it quickly. Shotgun with 2 wide receivers. Bad snap. Ryan after it. Trying to get out of the way, and he's sacked back down at the 7-yard line. 59. Art Sebastianelli along with Mike Henley.
First time today, George Matthews, the senior center, has done an excellent job of getting the ball back out of this shotgun formation. But that time, the snap was on the ground. That time, Matthews wasn't in the ball game. Number 54 was in the football game at center. That is Matthews, excuse me.
One obstacle a quarterback has on a bad snap, particularly if you got bad knees, is to try to field that low grounder. So Matthews, up until that play, perfect on his shotgun snaps, putting Yale back in a big hole, third down and a whole bunch at their own 8-yard line. Froxell in motion. A give to Bryce on the delay, keeps his feet. Out to the 15-yard line. Not nearly enough for a first down, so Yale will have to kick it away. Ryan stumbling, coming out from center just before he got the ball to Bryce.
We mentioned earlier that Yale came into this game averaging 135 yards on the rushing and 216 yards passing. You got to give credit to the Penn defense. They really have shut off Kelly Ryan in this attack, the second half particularly. Probably done the best job against Yale thus far by any team this season.
Malky to kick it away. It's a high spiral, knocking Flynn back to his own 45. Dodges one tackler. Dodges another. He's got the corner. Got one man to beat. It's by him. Cuts back and down to the 30-yard line. Flynn with another outstanding punt return. He's doing it all here this afternoon. 36-yard kick and a 16-yard return, although he ran close to 40 yards.
Across the field, there you see him. The moves, the quickness, the darting ability, and the toughness of this kid. He really is a tough football player. He takes a lot of hits, but he's so dangerous and so exciting.
4:24 left to go in the game. Penn enjoying a 24-6 lead. Krochicki on the pitch to Bruni. Off tackle. Down to the 25-yard line, but a penalty marker is down.
Penalty marker thrown by the umpire in the middle of the line. We know what that brings.
And holding against Penn will push them back 10 yards and negate the 6-yard gain.
So Ed Zubro is clearly on his way to his 6th straight victory, and you got to go back to 1908.
Offense,
the last coach,
first down,
who in his first year as head coach was 6-0.
Well, he was very instrumental as an assistant to Jerry Burnt in recruiting a lot of the players to come to Penn, and he's kept the program going.
He's played an unusual role. He's been the recruiting coordinator, the academic advisor, the defensive line coach. Played a variety of roles, and now here's head coach.
Kochickia setting up the screen, pressured, and sacked back to the 43-yard line. 66, Brett Schuley, along with 96, Andy Dudley.
Well, a few times today that Jim Kochickia has been thrown for a loss. He was trying to set up on a screen play. It never developed, and he was thrown for a big loss.
Second down and 37 yards to go. Saunders and Andrews, the wide receivers, both to the wide side. A quick handoff to Clark up the middle, and he picks up about 6 out to about the 49-yard line before being brought down there by number 96, Andy Dudley. Now less than 3 minutes to go. Penn very happy just to run out the clock.
Jim Kochickia coming off his greatest week against Navy last week is 12 of 17 today for 200 yards. A very fine afternoon for the senior quarterback out of Southbury, Connecticut.
Give to Brony. He's got some room. Breaks some tackles, and he's down to the 36-yard line. But he's accurate, but considerably short of that first down marker.
And that's been the #1 running play for Penn today, the counter with the tailback coming out against the grain. Both Bruni and, of course, Chris Flynn have run it very effectively. What it does is forces those linebackers to take a step, misdirection, gives the line a chance to get a block on him, and then with the speed and the quickness of both Flynn and Bruni, gives them a chance to come back and break it. Very effective play today, something that Penn runs beautifully with those two tailbacks.
Fourth down and 16. Kochickia on the delay to Bruni. Same play. Breaks the tackle. Down to the 23. Dave Sullivan on the stop. He comes up about 2 yards short. That first down. Starting back second down and 37. They picked up a lot of yardage, but came up too short. So Yale will take over on their own 22-yard line. 1:48 to go and trailing by 18 points. New quarterback in for Yale, number 7, Mark Brubaker, sophomore out of Pittsburgh. Carmen Koza trying to give him a little experience, even in the last couple of minutes here. Truxell in motion. And delay to Bryce. Out to the 25 and down to the 26-yard line. Other scores in the league. Holy Cross hanging on to that lead over Brown.
Brown playing them very tough. Colgate well ahead of Columbia in the third quarter. Cornell shutting out Dartmouth up in Hanover. And Princeton keeping to the early scores, 14 points they got in the first quarter, ahead of Harvard in the fourth period.
And Cornell with that lead on Dartmouth, keeping pace at the top of the Ivy League standings with these Penn Quakers. Second down and 7. Brubaker on the roll, looking for his tight end, and he's got him at the 46-yard line. Ruled incomplete, short hopped. Jim Griffin, the tight end, in for Dean Athanasia, was there, but ball just a little bit underthrown. Third down and 7.
Very impressive Penn football team. We saw them early in the opening game of the season up in Hanover, where they beat Dartmouth 21-7. They do what they have to do to win. They're impressive on both sides of the football. They not only have good operators, but they have depth, and they use it beautifully.
And they don't make the mistakes that stop drives and kill themselves. Hand off to Bryce. Up the middle, very close to the 29-yard line, but well short of a first down. So that will bring in the punter for Yale, Don Mulkey. As time is running down with less than 45 seconds to go. Pennsylvania 6-0. They were undefeated Ivy champs 2 years ago at 7-0. Only 3 times in the last almost 20 years has any Ivy team gone undefeated, even in the league. So the league has shown a lot of balance.
And we'll see this Penn club next week up at Princeton at Palmer Stadium as they take on Princeton.
Malky gets the punt away, a low kick. Field there by number 88, Scott Sandler. So Penn will put it in play at their own 43-yard line with 8 seconds to go.
Ed Zubro, concerned coming into this game that he could keep the momentum from that great win at Navy. Well, the first half was close, but in the second half, this ball club just came out and got some early scores and put it away. He's happy about this one, and there he is congratulating his senior quarterback, Jim Krochickia.
New quarterback in for Penn, Scott Morcott, will just fall on the ball and run it out, and there's 6th victory for Penn. So that does it. Pennsylvania the winners. They stay unbeaten, 24-6 over Yale. We'll be back at Franklin Field in just a moment. The Ivy League football game of the week is made possible by grants from the financial professionals at Payne Weber and by Chrysler, makers of Plymouth Voyager, where the pride is back. All of us on the Ivy League Network would like to add a special thanks to these fine underwriters who are making the Ivy telecast possible. So once again, Penn on the upside of an Ivy League score, running the record to 6-0. 24-6 over Yale.
And we know what it's like to keep the pressure on yourself and be up for every game. It's not easy, no matter how well it's going. But Penn has accomplished that today in beating Yale. Yale came in here feeling they had a shot, and for one half they did. But in the second half, the Penn offense, their depth, their experience, they're being accustomed to winning, so they took charge, and they really dominated play in the second half.
I think that's the key thing. The attitude, the confidence level. The athletic ability is pretty even, but the confidence and the experience really takes over, and Penn has really benefited that in the last 2 or 3 years, building their program from really the 2nd division of the Ivy League.
And it's happened quickly, and it's the consistency has been tremendous. And today they got a terrific play out of a lot of people. Their quarterback, Jim Krochickia, had a good, solid day throwing the football and directing the offense. And, of course, the key was the running ability of their tailbacks, particularly Chris Flynn, the junior, who came in and stepped in a starting role. He plays a lot, but he stepped in the starting role for Rich Comizio and had an outstanding afternoon.
Well, not only that, but with Comizio not at 100%, not only did Flynn have over 100 yards rushing, but Bruni had very close to 60 or 70 just in the second half.
Gives those guys a chance to play, and you know what that's like. They wait for that opportunity. They've got tremendous depth in certain positions, and particularly in the running back positions, and they're skilled players. They really have quality to them.
So next week, the Quakers will travel to Palmer Stadium and take on the Princeton Tigers. Yale facing Dartmouth.
Princeton last year came into Franklin Field and really gave Pennsylvania fits with their offense, their wing-ting attack. So it'll be interesting today.
Okay, let's go down to the sideline to Chris Flynn. Outstanding performer this afternoon. Chris, your first start as a tailback, but in addition to running punts and kickoffs back, you had an outstanding afternoon from the tailback position.
Well, thank you very much. The offensive line played really well right across the ball. You know, our defense got a little slow start in the first half, and we came out with 2 quick touchdowns in the second half. Everybody played well on defense in the second half, and when it came down to it, our line did the job.
Chris, the play that really goes for you in this offense is that cutback or that counter play where you take a step in one direction, you come against the grain. Is that something you've been running all year, or is that something you put in particularly against Yale and their linebacker core?
Right, we worked on it all week. We do it every game. It's a misdirection play. I like to do that. Unfortunately, we got some good hold-up blocks on the backside from our line, and I was able to break a couple. Yeah.
Okay, Chris, we want you to look at the monitor down there because we want to show you one of your touchdown runs, and perhaps you can tell us what happens here.
Where's that monitor?
Do you see it there?
No, I don't have it.
All right, it's a toss to you, going to the left side. You're running behind the fullback, Clark, and you break the play back inside. And you get tremendous blocking from the left side.
Well, that's just a credit to our offensive line. They work hard all week. I think they're they're the 10 best players in the Ivy League right now. And we got.
Well, Chris, you got some great blocking, but you also present very little target for the defensive backs. You got great balance, and what a terrific afternoon. Continued success the rest of the season.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Chris Flynn finished the afternoon 22 carries, 124 yards, and 4 receptions for 48 yards. That's a pretty good afternoon for a guy who's only a junior and has already gained over 1,000 yards in his career at Pennsylvania.
Well, I wonder if Camizzi will be able to get his job back with that type of effort. But that's the type of thing that a coach likes to see. He likes to see a lot of competition at every position because that makes every position that much better.
You can look at the offense. You can look to last week when Penn came up with 4 second-half touchdowns to beat Navy. But when you think about this ball club today, the defense did an exceptional job, and we know they're good players. They've played tough against a lot of people, but today they had to do something a little bit different. They were up against an outstanding quarterback in Kelly Ryan and also the shotgun formation. As we look at a very interesting score in the 4th period, Dartmouth has come with a score and now trails only by 3 points up in Hanover. But the defense of Pennsylvania today did an outstanding job.
Well, one of the things we asked Carmen Koza was, even though it's middle of the season, does he have a tendency to look forward to the big games of what the alumni call Princeton and Harvard? But as you see by that Cornell-Dartmouth score, you really can't look by anybody, and because if you do, you're going to get upset. So, you know, it's one of the things that Penn's come out after a big emotional win last week. They did what they had to do to win,
exactly.
And showed that why they're at the top of the Ivy League.
And they're going to have to do that every week. No matter who they play in this league, they're going to have to be up for it because now they're on top, and they can't afford just to take it for granted because that just doesn't happen. We know in past experience in the Ivy League that they can step up on any given Saturday and give you trouble. It'll be next week. We'll be with Penn again up at Princeton to play Princeton. Princeton is leading right now against Harvard 14-3 in the 4th period. That could be an interesting afternoon for them, but as long as they keep the pressure on themselves and play up to their abilities, and there are the final statistics, and they're mighty impressive. Penn splitting 180 yards rushing and 200 yards passing. That's a great balance for a total afternoon of 380 yards. They get that kind of performance week in and week out, they're going to be an awfully tough team to beat.
And Krochicki showing a lot of consistency at quarterback with his play calling, the types of calls that he made, not trying to force the ball too much. Passing yardage for Yale, 132, but Ryan had 100 after the first quarter, so it shows that Penn really started to put the pressure on him after the first quarter was over.
And the other side, you mentioned Krochicki. I think it's important enough to mention again. He's a senior. He came into this season, there was still some questions. Up until the first game at Zubrow, didn't know whether he was going to start Krochicki or the other senior, Morcott. He went with Krochicki, and he's really proved himself this year because, as you noted, he's really letting the offense operate. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's not forcing the ball that often and trying to do it all himself, and because of that, it's been very effective.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that he's got a lot of good complementary people on his team, so he doesn't, you know, as you said earlier, he doesn't have to do it all by himself, and I think he's taken advantage of that. As we said earlier, Penn travels to Princeton next week, and we'll have that game right here. So Princeton coming off a couple of tough losses last week, really sticking it to Harvard. Last score we saw, they were ahead 14-3, so Penn will not be looking by Princeton next week. Final score once again, 24-6 here, Penn over Yale, and we look at next week's schedule for the Ivy League.
Brown goes up to Harvard to play. Harvard trailing Princeton at this moment at Palmer Stadium 14-3 in the 4th period. Dartmouth goes to Yale. Cornell plays outside the league against Bucknell, and Columbia plays Villanova. Villanova coming back in football. This is their 3rd year of a formalized program. They'll be visiting Columbia up at Wien Stadium.
Say, as the people file out of here, Franklin Field, a very happy homecoming crowd. They started the celebration last night. I got a test from my hotel, but very happy with today's outcome as Penn stays unbeaten.
And Ed Zubrow, in his first year as head football coach, is undefeated. And that's quite a remarkable achievement. Even though he knew he inherited an outstanding program, he's kept the life in this program and the enthusiasm. And as he stands now, he's the first coach, as we mentioned earlier, to go undefeated in the first 6 games of the season. You got to go back to the 1908 season to do it. And Ed Zubrow is riding the crest right now, and he's doing a great job with his staff, keeping this club alive. And here we see it.
Okay, once again, the final score, Penn 24, Yale 6. This is Brian Dowling along with Bob Cassiola saying so long from Franklin Field.